baby.
It was a big curse, and hopefully that curse will be gone on Sunday. Yes. All right, 248-539-9797. Two 248-539-9797. You know what might be I wouldn't call it a subplot, but a little extra motivation that I didn't really think about for the 49ers.
What's that?
Is last year. They thought they were going to go in Philly and beat the Eagles. A lot of people did. And they believe still that they would have if Purdy didn't get hurt. And the backup quarterback was it Johnson, right? That he got hurt as well. McCaffrey was doing stuff out of the shotgun. They are very motivated because they thought that they had their trip to the Super Bowl just taken away from them by luck, basically bad luck that their players got injured. You know what? I said it is, just block better, and that guy wouldn't have got hit.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why, that happened. But this is the next opportunity,
yes.
and you can say all you want about Brock Purdy. He did what he did last year of getting them to being a part of what got them to the NFC Championship game.
Right.
Now, in year two, an even larger part over the course of a full season of getting them to another NFC Championship game. Now, obviously, the margin for error is much less. The risk is greater in games like this, and whether you're hurt or not, that can be a great motivation. The Lions have to make a young quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket, but also with what they're seeing. That's going to be on Aaron Glenn in terms of how they come up with this game plan.
I don't deny the added motivation, but again, John always talks about it. It doesn't matter 7 minutes into the game unless they get off to that rolling 49er start, which is what they love to do. They love to come out. You got to survive their haymaker. That's the way they do it. They don't win very many close games. That's when they lose. They like to blow people out. That's just the style of play they have. My biggest concern from just matchups here. Is the Lions' run defense really this good? I am a little concerned there because this is one of the best rushing attacks it is in the league. They've got the best running back in the league, and it bothers me a little bit that their defensive coordinator is Steve Wilks, who drummed up the Carolina nightmare last year. I would think Kyle Shanahan has talked to him.
You would think so.
Because the Lions' defense is better. It's improved. It's different. It ain't that much different, though, when it...
Well, statistically, it certainly is.
Yeah, it is. Right. That was my point. Yeah. How good is their run D really the second best run defense in the league?
The Lions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Statistically, it is.
Okay, but you are what your record says you are. You are all of these things. And over the course of 17, now 19 games, you have a sufficient sample size to say that, yes, you are actually what some of the numbers and stats say you are.
248-539-9797. McCaffrey is obviously the biggest concern. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Defensively, they're linebackers. I mean, Warner, Greenlaw, they're great. And if hopefully for the Lions, Laporta and St. Brown are going to be able to find room across the middle, they'll be able to run their bread and butter stuff.
Yeah, but this is an opportunity for all of those players, not just Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, to make a name for themselves. In the NFC Championship game, you want people to be talking about you like they talk about the greatest in the game right now, then you go out there when the spotlight is the biggest. Now, that's in a couple of weeks, but this is the next biggest spotlight. There's only 2 games. There's only one on at a time. You go out there against the San Francisco 49ers and you perform, and it's Sam Laporta, it's Taylor Decker, it's Frank Ragnow. A lot of people talking about Frank after last week because of what he was able to do against Vita Vea, the circumstances, but now you do it in an environment like this against this defensive line, and it takes your status to a new level.
And you gotta contain Hargrave. 248-539-9797. John, you're acting like the Lions have no weapons. No, this is before the text was before you said it, though. We have a tight end that's almost as good as Kittle. St. Brown is better than all their wide receivers, and Hutch is as good as Bosa. Our running backs may not be as good, but we have 2. That's from Sean in White Lake. My concern is over how Green Bay handled Dallas, and we did not. I don't want to say Green Bay is a better team, but they made Dallas look easy, and they should have beaten San Francisco. Where is that? Put the Lions in comparison. Well, the Lions can run the ball as good as the Packers, if not better at times. Most of the season they did. No turnovers, and we win. Wrap up and tackle. Hey, not to change the subject, or maybe I missed it, but is James Houston going to play this weekend? He's not on the injury report, so we'll find out. You know, whether he'll be active or not, that remains to be seen. Same thing with Zach Ertz. I'd imagine Ertz probably will, just on the basis in case an injured, they only have 2 tight ends.
Right, something happens to Laporta.
Somebody mentioned earlier when we were talking about this, their linebackers, and I really believe that the Niners will play the box or whatever in terms of they're going to make Goff throw outside. They're going to make you run outside. I think they're going to commit to stopping the middle of the field.
Well, that's what Baltimore did. They just look at that.
They've got the players to do it.
Right.
So the Lions, hopefully, schematically are doing some things different. I think a lot of motion is going to be very necessary in this game. Move people around.
And a lot of their
Gibbs outside, popping one. That's the thing. If they're going to play ultra aggressive up the middle, if Gibbs can get to the corner, to the edge.
And if a lot of times, John, you know, when they pull like Penei Sewell from right to left, and he just leads, and he's manhandles people.
Yeah, no matter where he is on the field, he's manhandling people.
Lemon McCaffrey and force Mr. Irrelevant to drop back 30 or more times. My biggest fear is Goff getting reckless with the ball a couple times. Mr. Irrelevant has only attempted more than 30 passes 4 times. They beat the crap Giants and lost to Cincy, Baltimore, and should have lost to the Packers. Yeah, you try to make them one-dimensional. Try to take away the run. It's just not very easy to do.
Yeah.
248-539-9797. Let's go to Red in Farmington Hills. You're 97 on the ticket.
Good morning, fellas.
How you doing, Red?
I'm pretty good. Hey, you asked what we're going to be doing Sunday. I'm going to be surrounded by Niners fans. I'm going to the game.
Oh.
I'm super excited. I can't wait. I just got tickets off of TickPix to a 2100. I'm excited. Laura Bow. I leave tonight, and I'm excited. I can't wait. I've been believing in these boys since the beginning of the year. I went to the Chiefs game. I had to sign up. I made the Detroit Free Press in. The Lions won the Super Bowl. I believe it. And then if we win this game, I'm going to the Super Bowl too.
2100 a ticket, Red, huh? Or for the pair?
Oh, for the pair.
All right, that makes it a little better. Yeah. And how much is your plane flight? And I saw that Delta, they made they ordered different planes to get more people, make more money for them too.
Yeah. So I found one for 2,300. So yeah, I'm excited. I've basically been to the first round of the playoffs. I went to the second round. and I got it's like addiction. Like
I can
can't
tell.
stop.
I get it.
My birthday was yesterday, so this is like my birthday gift to myself. And then if they win, if they go to Super, oh my goodness, I'm there.
How old, Red? How old are you?
I'm 34. I just turned 34.
Happy birthday, Red.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And good luck and represent.
Is this guy?
Sorry.
Has this sunk in for you guys? Like, I'm starting to think. Like, can you imagine? It's Bradshaw and the NFC Championship trophy presentation to Dan Campbell. I can't imagine that. Like, it does not seem like that's possible.
It seems like it's possible to me. I mean, it's
because you're a player. It does not seem possible, and I know obviously it is.
Well, yeah, but it's so there's so much that goes into this in terms of the history and the struggle and the unlikeliness of us being here when it was 3-13-1 2 years ago. They started off 1-6 last year. And it even, around Thanksgiving this year, if you take that Lions team that struggled against the Bears twice, they found a way to beat the Saints kind of in the middle of it, but obviously struggled at home against the Packers. If you took just that snapshot and you'd said, hey, this team is going to be playing for the NFC Championship, you wouldn't believe it either.
No, and you wouldn't believe it back in 2008 when they were winless.
I can't even imagine what Dan Campbell would say on that podium.
Well, 2008, I mean, that's a long time ago.
I understand, but that's why many of us are sitting here going, I can't believe what we might see on Sunday. That's
that
the reason.
2009 team is the one that really set the path.
I get that.
Two wins. It was Larry Foote, myself. I mean, that we kind of laid the foundation.
I know.
Stoney, should they touch the trophy if they win? Stoney topics.
Ooh. I didn't
Who's allowed to touch the trophy?
Sheila,
it's only
Holmes, but not the.
They. You know what?
Not the players? Is that what you said?
It's a Stanley Cup. After the semifinals, they have trophies for the East and the West.
Yeah.
And some teams don't touch it because the only hardware they want to touch is the Stanley Cup. And then like Sidney Crosby and the Penguins, they touched it, so they didn't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just. Hey, by the way, if you want to go to a cool place to watch the game, Ford Field is that. The Detroit Lions All Grit Watch Party this Sunday. Watch the Lions and the Niners in the NFC Championship game on all the video boards and screens at Ford Field. When you hear me say, forward down that freaking field, be the sixth caller, 248-539-9797, and you could be at Ford freaking Field, 97-1 the ticket.
The slippery winter season is here. So whether your injury is a result of an auto accident or a slip and fall during the winter months, there's only one attorney out there who can give you the personal service you need and deserve, and that's injury attorney David Feminino. I've told you before, if you're injured in Michigan, all you need to do is call David Feminino to get David and get paid. David can be reached anytime on his website, getdavidgetpaid.com, or you can give him a call directly at 855-65-CRASH. Website again, getdavidgetpaid.com. Phone 855-65-CRASH.
248-539-9797. We got some ticket texts here. This is from Jason in Cali. Thank you for listening, Jason.
Yeah.
Green Bay ran for 136 yards against San Francisco. We have a better O-line and a better running back core than Green Bay. We should be able to run all day on them. I am worried about the lack of coverage in the slot. Glenn hasn't been able to fix that all season. We will stop or at least contain the run, though. Hopefully he is correct. But that is definitely a concern, the slot. One thing I fear is screenplays. CMC runs hard. Debo runs hard. Missed tackles could be the issue. Tampa scored easy on a screenplay in the second half. Hopefully we can wrap up tackles, and we should be good.
Yeah, missed tackles are my biggest concern.
Teams rack up yards through the air against the Lions because they completely abandon the run. Since the Broncos, and including the Broncos, no team has handed it off more than 20 times. Debo will have a bullseye on his shoulder. He should make a business decision and sit this game out. Oh, yeah. Well, he and I don't know the whole genesis of it, but I think it was probably after the game, him and Gardner Johnson after the NFC Championship game last year.
They've gone at it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they thought that Debo was crying and whining and stuff. So, the Lions have the lowest number of rushing attempts against in the league. That is why they have a low rushing yards against. Teams know they can throw and don't need to run, and we've often been ahead, so they have to pass. Run defense hasn't been tested. But I think it's yards per carry, isn't it, that we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, their run defense is good. Now, have they faced anybody like Christian McCaffrey? No. And he's not a guy that you just stop. You can slow him down. You could try and contain him, but you're not going to just shut that off.
The 49ers don't scare me. I think we match up well and they are beatable. I think we win in a close one. My wife and I booked a trip to Mexico leaving Saturday, not knowing we'd make it this far. Hope the hotel has the games playing. Go Lions, Ben and Dearborn. Usually they do.
Yeah, if you're staying at a bigger hotel.
Yes, or an all-inclusive. They usually have them.
Yeah.
But unless you're somewhere in Mexico that's really remote.
Yeah.
Near the border.
Yeah. Electricity maybe has an issue.
Yes. This is the most exciting Lions pregame conversation I've ever heard. There's an advantage in the 49ers' favor on paper. Those advantages bring the two injured players on their offense. The 49ers' defense is a little better, but we have the most important advantage on the field. Our quarterback, Goff, is better than Purdy.
I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. Goff is better than Purdy. Goff has been in this situation. He's been to the next level. Purdy has been in this situation. Didn't last long.
No.
Last year, but now he's back just in simply year 2.
Let's say good morning to Fred, who's been waiting patiently. What's up, Freddie in Westland?
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
I'm actually going to the game with all my in-laws that are diehard 49ers fans. I'm flying today to Portland, Oregon, where they live, and we're driving to the game from there.
How long a drive is it?
It's about 15 hours or something like that to St. Clair from Portland. North of Portland.
I'm sure you're saving a lot. I assume the flights to Portland are a lot cheaper than they are to San Francisco right now, right?
Yeah, the San Francisco tickets were up in like 1,000 something. So we flew to Portland. The tickets were about 500 round trip, which is not too bad. And we're driving there with them. It's going to be an interesting car ride. I'm the only Lions fan. They're all die hard. I grew up Niners fans. You know, in Poland, they're either Seahawks fans or Niners fans. And they've just been Niners fans all the time.
That'll be fun.
Time to stand tall, Fred.
Yes, absolutely. Make that 15-hour drive.
Yes.
Now, it's going to be cool. You're going to be excited and all that. But if the Lions, unfortunately, if they would lose, that 15-hour drive back with your in-laws to Portland is going to be painful as hell.
Yeah, I know. And the funny thing is my wife is on the fence. She grew up a Niners fan there in Portland. And ever since she moved here, now she's a Lions fan, but also Niners fans at the same time. So she's like in between both. So I don't know how this is going to go.
Well, you're going to have to ask her how much she loves you.
Yeah, we're going to have this conversation on the plane. Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you may be going down with 2 Lions fans.
Yeah, exactly. I got a few on my side.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it. I heard on Carson Anderson yesterday somebody suggesting, and I don't know if they ever found out this is true, take a short 2.5. I know this would be tough for you, but you'd save a hell of a lot of money, John. A short 2.5 to 3 hour drive to Cleveland, and Frontier Airlines are one of them. Their flights to San Francisco are appreciably cheaper than they are from here, obviously. So,
Is it the same out of Chicago or?
I don't know. They just said Frontier to Cleveland.
Indianapolis,
Cleveland. That's
there's a lot of other options.
I know you don't want to go to Ohio. I understand.
No, again, I have no problem right now with Ohio. I mean, we own that state. It's okay.
Okay, good.
We planted our flag.
Because you went last night in Toledo and you didn't look.
No, I don't like it. Doesn't say I have to like it, but I can't go there.
Oh yeah, well you can always go there, but you never like it.
No.
James in Richmond, you're a 97 on the ticket.
Good morning, sir. How you guys doing?
Good.
Big fan of you guys.
Thank you.
A big fan. I drive a FedEx, listen to you guys all the time. I'm a diehard Lions fan. I went to the game. They snapped the 0-23 streak against Washington. I haven't missed a game. I can't count on how long. I'm 33 years old. I want my sense of the game. I think we potentially can make them a one-dimensional team. If we can control Jason Kittle and say Samuel plays or not plays, he's not 100%, so he's not going to be his normal. If we can contain them and make them try and one-dimensional, I think we have a really good shot at winning. On top of, I think Hudson is going to get after Brock Purdy and get him uncomfortable.
Hey, James, I got a question for you. At that game that you went to, how was the tackle play way back? Your first game was when the Lions beat the Redskins, right?
Yeah.
How was the play on the offensive line that day?
Horrible. It was a shocking game. We won in the last minute. I was younger. I don't remember much. I've been to the Lions game since, but I just think now that we just have the offensive line that I don't think that if we can protect, I think you're going to give Goff a lot of time.
So you said back in 2009 the offensive line was really bad that game, huh?
It wasn't bad, but I don't think it was as what is it now. Definitely.
Did you realize that John played on that offensive line for the Lions?
Yeah, but I didn't play in that game.
Oh, you didn't?
No, that was guys that are chairless.
Oh.
Chairless.
So you were a healthy scratch?
No, I was dressed.
Oh,
yeah.
They didn't play you?
No, I was on. I
He was a sub.
Yeah,
you were a sub.
I was a sub. Yes.
Okay,
I was ready and willing.
So Gosder Chairless played over you. Was that the worst moment of your career?
No, I've had other bad moments, but it's not a highlight.
What is the worst? Not being cut. You can't say being.
No, the draft.
Well, I mean, okay, but I made it a positive, just like Amon Ra has made it a positive.
Right.
It turned it into 12 years of an NFL career.
Did you have a list?
Did I have a list? I knew who was drafted ahead of me. I mean, like, I'm not going to go through the whole miserable moments of my career.
Just who else was on the list besides? We know the obvious one. We've talked about that before.
L.J. Shelton was on there. Those two kids from Georgia.
Stinchcomb was one, right?
Stinchcomb was one. Really Chris
good.
Terry was the other.
Yeah.
The kid from you guys drafted by Kansas City. I'm forgetting names now.
One from Notre Dame, right?
That was
Pedigo.
Yeah, he went to the Giants. Who was the kid that was drafted out of BYU that went to Kansas City? He ended up being a pretty good player. That didn't play as long.
I can see it in your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I can see the bitterness in your eyes.
And obviously Gibson.
And the fat kid from Wisconsin.
At me in a different way I've never seen before, and it kind of scared me.
Yeah. I try and turn the page, but
I won't let you. Chris in Flint, you're at 97 on the ticket. What's up, Chris?
Hey guys, this is really settling in. I know one of you guys said it's just unreal to see. My unreal to see was the NFC logo on the background of the gray background on the media session that Dan Campbell was having, and I thought, my daughter's 2 months old. She saw a national championship for Michigan, and the Lions are going to the NFC Championship. That's just wild to me.
It is. I mean, Michigan wins an NCAA championship. The coach leaves, and the Lions are playing in the NFC Championship game. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
and you're right. I was there yesterday for Campbell, and it is definitely weird to see that background, and there's the NFC Championship logo.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's right. Just wait till 2 weeks if you see the Super Bowl logo.
Oh
my God. All right, 248-539-9797. I mentioned the national championship coach leaving. Michigan fans, can you deal with this? And are you still thinking national title in the next few years with Chiron Moore? 97 won the ticket. All right, I got two of them here, I believe. Here. I'll wait. 5, 4, 3. Don't want to get it on the second, so I know time it right. Hey, it's Stoney, and as temperatures drop, heating systems turn on, days get shorter, and lights stay on longer. These seasonal changes can increase your energy use. DTE has the steps you can take to stay warm, keeping bills low. You can install programmable. Hey, it's Stoney. As temperatures drop, heating systems turn on, days get shorter, and lights stay on longer. These seasonal changes can increase your energy use. DTE has steps you can take to stay warm while keeping bills low. You can install a programmable thermostat, pull out those socks and sweaters and insulation, seal leaky windows, or get a furnace tune-up. For more ways to reduce your energy use and stay warm all winter long, visit dteenergy.com/saveenergy. I got to do it again. It's very energy use. Fuck me. Programmable. Hey, it's Stoney. As temperatures drop, heating systems turn on, days get shorter, and lights stay on longer. These seasonal changes can increase your energy use. DTE has steps you can take to stay warm while keeping bills low. You can install a programmable thermostat, pull out those socks and sweaters, add insulation, seal leaky windows, or get a furnace tune-up. For more ways to reduce your energy use and stay warm all winter long, visit dteenergy.com/saveenergy. All right, I got one more. Hey, it's Stoney here for DTE Energy. If you're looking for ways to stay warm while keeping bills low, DTE has a few steps that can help. For starters, you can install a programmable thermostat, which could save you up to 10% a year on heating and cooling by adjusting your thermostat up or down while you're asleep, or a way to reduce energy usage. And this one is easy. Dress appropriately for the weather by pulling out those socks and sweaters. Learn more and visit dteenergy.com/saveenergy. Two 248-539-9797. We got the news yesterday. Around what? About 7 o'clock, 7:30, something like that. I don't remember what time I texted you. I mean, a little later than that. Jim Harbaugh is the new head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. I had a gut feeling this was going to happen. No inside info or anything like that. Because with Jim Harbaugh, there is no inside info except what's in his head. And he decided to leave, and, you know, more power to him. He's getting out. And the going's good right now. I mean, he won a national championship. Yep. And let's be honest, no matter what you think of Jim Harbaugh, and we've all had our interesting moments with him on this program and other people in the media, and he's a hell of a football coach. In 9 years at Michigan, 86-25, 60-17 in Big Ten play, 3-6 in bowl games, including the 2 wins this year, which included obviously a national championship, 3 appearances in the playoff. He was pretty successful elsewhere too, at the University of San Diego and at Stanford. His college career finishes 144-52. In the NFL, in his previous life in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers, he was 44-19-1. 4 years. 3 of those years, they went to the conference championship game. 1 year, they went to the Super Bowl, did not win it. His last season, they were 8-8. As a head coach, counting the COVID year, 20 years of being a head coach in either the professional or collegiate ranks, 3 losing seasons. The guy is a great coach, a great program builder, more importantly. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are pissed off that he left. There are some people that are relieved, some people that are sad. If you're a Spartan fan, Buckeye fan, and a Michigan fan, I want to hear from everybody. Your reaction on Jim leaving, and, what do you think the future holds for the University of Michigan? I think short term, it's going to be a tough season. I thought that before Harbaugh left, but, you're going to bring in basically a brand new quarterback, brand new coach, not brand new coaching staff, but some new coaches now. You lost some key players on both sides of the ball. Look, there's a lot of depth, especially defensively, so they'll still be good. Their schedule is a bitch, but you know what? Makes up for the joke it was the last 2 seasons. I don't anticipate them winning the Big Ten, but Chiron Moore, I think, will do a good job as long as, they hire the right DC, or I don't know if they're going to promote either Klink or somebody else. I have no idea. I think the program's in pretty good hands. But to say that it won't be a difference this year, I think is faulty logic.
Well, did I think he was going to go? No. Am I surprised? Not surprised either. I mean, when you think about all of the challenges and take away the NCAA stuff and the sign stealing and all that stuff, just college football in and of itself right now, the transfer portal, NIL, college, conference expansion, it's becoming an absolute nightmare. And there's no guidance, there's no direction from the NCAA as to how this is going to happen. And right now, the NCAA is being sued for another round of, hey, instead of just making it one time where you could transfer, they want to make it an unlimited amount of times for transfer without a penalty. So it's becoming a challenge. And you're going to see a lot of coaches that say, you know what? I've done what I can at this level. I can't take all of the ancillary stuff. Love working and even love recruiting the kids, but I'm going to go to the NFL, or I'm going to go to the NFL in some capacity. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. This to me was Jim Harbaugh. This could be some of that, but this was simply Jim Harbaugh wanting another bite at the apple that is a Super Bowl championship.
And we don't know the answer to this because I don't know if he would be honest about it. How much of this is, all right, I know the NCAA doesn't like me. I don't like them. I might get punished even more. Let me get out now.
I said, we don't know.
Right.
I have no idea.
We don't know.
But when you look at this and then you look and say, okay, well, who was next? It should be Chiron Moore. I thought that should have been announced within an hour of Jim Harbaugh, saying that he's going to the LA Chargers.
I think they have to post the job or something for a few days. I think, whatever. There's a lot of stuff going on. There was a story Angelique reported in the news that Michigan finally agreed to the contract language that Harbaugh wanted, but it was at the 11th hour and it was too late. And
I don't know that any language in the contract, maybe it made a difference, maybe it didn't.
Right.
I think Jim Harbaugh just simply wanted to go to the NFL.
248-539-9797. Good morning, Jim in Trenton. How are you, Jim?
Hey, guys. Good. How are you?
Good.
Appreciate you taking the call. Stoney, you just hit it on the head. The reason Harbaugh left. It's going to happen with the NCAA. It had nothing to do with pursuing his dream. He knew what was going to happen. He was facing at minimum 1-year suspension and possibly a lifetime banishment.
I'd see. Jim, really. You hold on. Jim, hold on 1 second. I don't care who you're rooting for. What do you think, because he did not cooperate with the NCAA, is going to would lead to a 1-year suspension?
Or a possible lifetime ban?
I mean, come on.
Absolutely. It's not cooperative. It's the most elaborate cheating scam in the history of college sports. It's a multitude of things.
Well, hold on. Let's have a conversation. What if, and because you're obviously going to believe the NCAA, what if the NCAA says, you know what, he knew nothing about it? Are you not going to believe the NCAA now? I don't really know what he knew or what he didn't, personally. But there's a damn
program, though, right?
Yes, and that's why I always thought there should be some problem. There should be some penalties. But if
this is the penalty. What you're seeing is the penalty. The NCAA allowed Michigan to save face by telling them, listen, Harbaugh's gone next year, or we're going to suspend him for a long, long time. So here's what it, and Harbaugh played it perfectly with this contract immunity stuff. Now the cult can just look and say, hey, it's Ward Manuel's fault for not agreeing to the terms. That's why he left. So let's be honest, guys. The covering up of the gun felony, missing half the season, he is everything that's wrong with college sports.
You got to have a villain.
He's painted like some type of saint. He's a good college football coach. Yeah. Are the last 3 years absolutely 100% tainted for cheating? Of course.
I don't. With the last, let me ask you this: with the last 3 games, the last 4 games tainted?
Absolutely, the last 3 years are.
Last 4 games after the cheating thing came out. You think those games? You think they cheated against Alabama, Washington, Iowa, Ohio State, Maryland, Penn State? You think they cheated?
I think they learned how to cheat or learn how to win by cheating.
You didn't answer my question. You didn't answer my question. Do you think they cheated on those last 6 games?
I don't know if they did.
Okay.
I don't know.
And the NCAA, the head of the NCAA,
of 3 years.
And the NCAA, the head of the NCAA, said that they're the national champions because they proved it on the field. Now, do I think they did stuff wrong? Absolutely. Do I think he knew about it? I have no idea.
See, this is why, though, with this penalty, I have no clue what ultimately is going to be done about this. Like, I really have no feel. Like, I felt like Harbaugh was going to take this job. We talked about it the day the job came open. I thought that this just looked like the place. Right. I have no feel about this. You get calls like that, and I respect his opinion.
Yeah.
You get, Mike thinks the hammer's coming down, and Rico.
That's fine.
You don't much is going to happen. It sounds like I really don't know what to think on this. Well, the bottom line is he's Pete Carroll if they're significantly sanctioned.
Yeah,
he is. He's Pete Carroll. He pulled a Pete Carroll. If John's letting it play out.
Well, right. You can't sit there because you don't know what's going to happen with the suspensions or the penalties. I should say. I don't know if there's going to be another suspension.
Some people thought when the NCAA they had said something, wasn't it when they won the Big Ten championship, or maybe it was after the Rose Bowl or something. Somebody with the NCAA.
Yeah, I said the president said it's all legit.
Yeah, that makes you think maybe much isn't coming. But if much isn't, you already have people who are into their corner. It's almost like politics, like that guy.
Yes.
Where even if they don't get, if that's what plays out, they don't get much of a sanction. The people are still going to have that opinion.
Right. And, he mentioned the word cult. Yes, there are a lot of people that it is a cult for them. But there's also another cult of people whose, shall we say, reason for their own existence is just to hate on Michigan. That's a cult as well. Greg and Taylor, you're 97 won the ticket.
Hey, morning, John. Morning, Tony.
Good morning.
I love your guys' show. And John, thanks for joining it because that's so cool to have a player on the show all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, yesterday was hilarious. With Sony, did you decide you're going to eat something special yet?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's a fast for him.
I'll have bacon and ankies on my pizza.
Oh, it was great.
Put some pineapple on there too.
Ugh, no pineapple.
Anchovies.
I'm only kidding. Bacon.
Yeah, it was great. But for Jim leaving to the Chargers, I mean, what a great choice. Even if Atlanta offers.
Hello.
Is like one of the best in the country. He took Michigan where everyone wanted him to go. I don't blame him at all for leaving, especially during this fiasco with the whole ordeal with NCAA. That just seems, a little convenient. But hey, I don't blame him at all. I'd walk away from it too.
Yeah.
Okay,
look. If the NCAA, thanks for the call, says he knew about Connor Stallions, we have all the evidence, and they provide all the evidence, then I'll say, you know what? I was wrong. He did know. And yes, he pulled a Pete Carroll. Absolutely. And if there's major penalties on the school, so be it. I'm not convinced he knew. But as the CEO, it's under his watch.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. I'll never change that. 97 won the ticket.
Hey, when it comes to managing your finances, you need a bank that gets you and is genuinely interested in your success. That's why I bank with First Merchants Bank. Whether it's your business banking or day-to-day personal banking, First Merchants Bank is 100% interested in helping you prosper. First Merchants bankers are attentive. They take the time to get to know me. They took the time to get to know me, ask me questions, and work with me to build a plan that fits my situation. And when you make the switch to First Merchants Bank, you're also going to get access to their highly rated mobile banking app with innovative personal finance tools. And it's an app, actually, I've already used it again today. They're deeply connected to the community's needs because it's their community as well. They volunteer and donate on a regular basis to local causes to ensure that we all continue to prosper together. This is the difference of 100% interest in you. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com. Firstmerchants.com. First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Congratulations to Dan in Melvindale. Wins the viewing party tickets at Ford Field, a sold-out Ford Field. The All Grit Watch Party. You heard me say forward down that frickin' field. So congratulations to Dan from Melvindale. 248-539-9797. By the way, on the pregame show on Sunday, Kevin Harlan will be with Dan Miller and Lomas Brown.
Oh, cool.
The wordy Kevin Harlan. Very excitable Kevin Harlan.
And the Lions franchise has finally been resurrected.
Joe in Grosse Ile, you're on 97.1 The Ticket.
Hey, guys, I'll give you a little Spartan perspective. I'm happy for Harbaugh, happy that he gets to pursue his dream, and I do think he'll win a Super Bowl. I'm happy for the Spartans because I think they get to close the gap a little bit, and it's a wide gap. What I am bummed about is Nick Saban leaving coaching now. I've been a friend and fan of Nick's for over 30 years, and I appreciate the excellence that he brought to the game, and we'll miss him being there. He is coming to Detroit for the draft, though, and look forward to seeing him then. But I wish Harbaugh well. He's a character. He's fun for the game.
Yes. I mean, a lot of people like villains. I mean, whether you like them or not, but you need villains in certain aspects, right?
Yeah, you do. Of course you do. He was fun to root against, especially with all the off-the-field drama.
There was drama.
Well, you remember I called you guys back before he got his second suspension, and Stoney, you accused me of working for Hallmark when I said bookend his suspensions, 3 on the front end, 3 on the back end, before he was given that suspension, and you laughed at me. Well, that's what ended up happening. I didn't see him win it at all. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But he had the fairy tale season for sure, and now he gets to go to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
You were right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Joe keeping receipts on you.
I know. Hey, believe me, there's plenty. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Be hanging outside this place. Yeah, for receipts. There's no doubt about it. By the way, speaking of Disney World, I heard Gator and Doug mention this yesterday.
Yeah.
How cool, or actually Mark Champion tweeted it, that he does the Disney World commercial after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You just won the, John Jensen, you just won the Super Bowl. Where are you going to go? He says it's so weird that he might have to do one with Detroit Lions.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, because they do them before the
Jared
game.
Goff, where are you going?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be so cool.
I know. Can we even think that far? Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Yes,
we're only 60 minutes away.
I know. So what do we have?
One game.
We have what, tonight? Tomorrow? 3 sleeps left, right?
3 sleeps, yep. Good math. 3 sleeps. And then we're going to wake up. Special day. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Special food, special day, special outcome. It's going to be awesome.
Did you talk to Cindy about that at all yesterday?
No.
Was she listening?
No, she's in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
my daughter has some little medical thing. And then my mom fell and broke her wrist.
Oh.
So she's in the hospital. She'll have surgery, I think, in the next couple of days. Yeah.
That's sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. At least she said, at least it's my left wrist, because she can write and use the phone. I have no idea.
Oh, that's huge.
Yes.
Because eating, too.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
You're dumb. Not even going to say
I know. Oh, wow.
He's awful.
No, I didn't do anything.
That would be for a man, not a
You gave me that look. Don't you lie?
No.
I know your looks. I'm getting used to this.
No, not on Stoney's. What is she? 85?
Oh, I thought we were talking about your
91.
sister.
No, my mother. 91.
Yeah. Sister, that's a different conversation. Not your mom. 91-year-old mom. That's disgusting.
Her husband's dead. So
Oh, God.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's not only you could go there.
There's a couple weeks left, right, Stoney? Get it all out.
It reminds me of a story. My grandfather, my father's father. Hold on.
No, let's let him go. Let him go.
I don't know what the whole backstory was, but just something he was mentioning about body parts or something. So my older cousin, Said, yeah, if Pop ever got arrested for doing something like bad, he would be arrested for assault with a dead weapon.
Where's Gator?
Oh, there he is. I'm going to save John here.
Don't save me.
I know.
You're the one talking.
I'm
just letting you talk.
That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
And making you laugh,
yes.
which is what God put me on this earth to do.
Yes.
And I'm not the only one who can make you laugh. Gator, how are you?
No. Lucky to be able to make my own self laugh. Yes.
I was listening to the show yesterday. You know, the people with the travel tips, Frontier Airlines. That was a good one. Yeah. I like that.
That's what we're here for, man.
I know.
Yeah.
And you mentioned we were just talking about the Mark Champion tweet where he says he's going
to.
Hey, Dan Skipper.
You just won.
Yes.
Where are you going? I'm reporting eligible.
You just reported in for the Super Bowl.
All right, Gator, it's Thursday. It's time for the $2 Grand Slam. Our contestant got 4 correct, so I'm confident you'll do better than him.
Okay.
All right, ready? Here we go. Who coached the Lions the last time they played the NFC Championship game?
Wayne Fonts.
Who do the Detroit Red Wings play tonight?
Philadelphia Flyers.
Who is the place kicker for the 49ers?
The kid from Michigan.
Levi Stadium is located in this city.
It's Santa Clara.
Steve Nash played college basketball at this school.
Santa Clara? I don't know.
He played Rusty in the 2001 version of Ocean's 11.
Rusty is Brad Pitt.
The movie line, I teabagged your drum set, is from this 2008 movie.
Step Brothers.
This team won the 2023 NBA Finals.
Was it Denver?
This team is currently ranked number 1 in both men's college basketball polls.
Duke. I don't know.
It would be UConn. The only one you got wrong was
I missed one.
The place kicker for the Niners.
Yeah.
Jake Moody. You know, as soon as he started, I'm like, oh, Jake Moody.
Yeah.
So it was Jake Moody and UConn. That's what we wanted.
Yes. So you got 7.
I teabagged your drums.
Yes, yeah. And technically the right response for number 8 wasn't Denver. It was supposed to be the Nuggets. Following
the teabag.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's not like me to pass up on using the word nugget. It is one of my favorite words. I apologize for that.
By the way, I think you guys deserve credit for turning Jared Goff into this leader, this funny guy at the podium with that conversation you had with Wojo yesterday.
Yeah, we'll replay that at some point today.
What else you got?
We're not, by the way. You've seen him do that bit where he dresses up?
As a junior college transfer.
He's got this dry sense of humor that you just have to pull out of him, and he's really funny.
So a little coaching change.
Yeah,
huh?
we'll open with Jim Harbaugh. We got the Wide Night Omaha 4-down round league blitz thingy at 10:30.
All right, Karsha Anderson next. Have a great day, everyone.
Okay, good to be with you on a Thursday. Man, there's been no shortage of sports news of late, and we are here for it. It's the Carson Anderson program here on 97.1 The Ticket. Before we get into it, Scott, how was your Wednesday?
It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
At home, watched the Pistons. I actually watched.
So here's the thing, man. You see who they play next?
Yeah,
Washington. They're not very good.
I know. You see they play after that?
Oklahoma City.
Oh, best team in the
West. The question is, Oklahoma City seems primed for a.
Time to rest some players.
Time to rest some players.
Load management.
Little load management day.
Come on. Well, you got to get past Washington first, Doug.
I know. Well, you can't get to 3 without getting to 2 first.
Yes.
So, and for people who don't know what this is in reference to, Kang and I made a bet. It might have been ill-advised by me, but I said, what the hell?
May have been.
I still think I'm going to win the bet.
I think you can.
I think I can too. But would you take my side of the bet?
I'm rooting for you.
Would you take my side of the bet?
Go ahead. I'll let you get in on it, Gator.
I want you
You
to
already
win.
got one win right now. You want to get in on it?
It's up to you.
I tell you what, I will let you know at the end of the segment.
Okay. Give it some thought. The bet was, Kang and I had just started talking about the Pistons. I made a bet that at some point this season they would win 3 in a row. They have not so far. We're past the midway point. And they're absolutely playing better. And so, I mean, they're 2-3 in their last 5.
You know, Doug, I'm looking at their schedule in the season so far on ESPN.com, and that's a lot of red, a lot of L's stacking up. There's some green.
It's a lunch bet. But anyway, long story short, yeah, I see a window here to get to 2, which is one of the critical steps when trying to get to 3. But
gotta crawl before you can run.
Okay, so Jim Harbaugh made his decision, and he is going to the NFL with the Chargers. There was much speculation that would be the case, and I got some pushback from people I talked to about it, but ultimately when it was all said and done, talking to someone today, says the Chargers simply had something that Michigan can't offer. They can't offer a chance to win the Super Bowl. And that this was the first NFL offer he had. The first time the ball's been put completely in his court to say yes or no, and he said yes, and that's it. So he's off to the NFL. And there's obviously Jim Harbaugh's kind of complicated. And you know, I think some people are glad to see him go. Some people aren't. For a coach that won a national championship, it's hard to imagine that would be the case, that there might be some people glad to see him go. Look, if he is your head coach, it comes with some challenges because he is a very different dude. I got to know a little bit. I can't say I got to know him a lot. I talk to him every week. He was kind of a tough nut to crack. And look, it's not 100% a foregone conclusion it's going to be Chiron Moore, but it's a high probability that it's going to be Chiron Moore.
Will they interview others?
I don't know. I think Chiron meets this week. I'm not reporting this, but it seems pretty obvious that Chiron will meet this week with Ward Manuel and his staff, and barring any major terrible interview or awful plan for the program, Chiron Moore is going to be Michigan's next head football coach.
Is that a mistake if you just go to him as opposed to opening it up, interviewing other people, talking to Lance Leipold or?
Look, I really like Lance Leipold. I really like Chris Kleiman, and I really like Mark Stoops, and none of them got scooped up this hiring cycle, and I think they were all very good candidates.
Fleck.
But with that said, is it a mistake? Well, if you start to do that, and you don't make all your decisions based on short term, but moving quickly in this era of college football, because you don't think their roster is getting phone calls right now? Of course
that's
they are.
illegal, Doug. That's against the rules. You can't do that.
So anyway, yeah, you need to, whatever you do, you need to do quickly. the Harbaugh thing would have been a lot better if it were over 2 weeks ago, but it took till January 24th for it to wrap up, and they basically didn't have their chief recruiter out there recruiting during a prime recruiting time. But with that said, I mean, Chiron Moore is the most keep the train on the tracks choice, without a doubt.
Well, when it comes to recruiting, the truth is that because Harbaugh has left, now there's a 30-day window if players want to enter the portal or not. Although entering the portal a few weeks into the school year is really doesn't make any sense. But the guys that are from the 24 recruiting class, the incoming class, those are the ones that you now have to re-recruit because they'll have 30 days, I suppose, to say I don't want to be there. But the reason I bring up going to other coaches and trying to do the best search that you can under the circumstances. Look, Alabama was up against it too, and they made a decision in 2 days or whatever it was. That's Alabama, and they got DeBoer out of it. I'm just saying, should Michigan look at that route? I think Chiron Moore is the right guy. I think he's the right choice, but you can't help but think and maybe do your due diligence and look elsewhere too.
I mean, I would do if it were me in charge, anything I would do would be happening within like 12 hours. I mean quickly, because
and frankly, it probably should have been happening for the last couple of weeks.
Well,
as soon as his name got linked to NFL coaching jobs, you got to be, shaking your head. And you've had the opportunity, not you, but Ward Manuel has had the opportunity to talk to Jim Harbaugh whenever he wanted to.
I can assure you nobody at Michigan is caught off guard that they haven't already laid the foundation for the plan if he leaves. So what do you lose in Jim Harbaugh? You lose a guy that was capable of beating Ohio State, winning the Big Ten, earning a playoff berth, and winning a national championship. And what are you getting without Jim Harbaugh? Okay, because before you know who the next guy is, here's what you're likely getting without Jim Harbaugh. More stability, because there probably won't be this dance. Harbaugh was a unique candidate, a unique coach in that there was this dance every year. I doubt there will be this dance every year with the next guy. There's a better chance to recruit stronger because there'll be more certainty. You can recruit with more certainty from the head coaching position, even though, the recruiting classes weren't ranked as high as some other schools, but you can't argue that the recruiting classes from the last 5 years have been the backbone of a national championship team. And you get perhaps some closure with the NCAA thing. I've talked to some people today about how this will play itself out, and there's no telling. There's two things that you don't know, and one is it's hard to know what the NCAA will do if they follow previous protocol. This is probably over, but they might not follow previous protocol. And there's still an investigation into whether or not it went up the chain of command and who it went to. As of now, the belief is it looks like the worst is out. That's as of now. But I'm a big fan of getting it all out and getting it all out quickly, because I know when these things drag on, I've been around and covered programs, when NCAA investigations drag on, it can paralyze you. But there's some subtleties and some nuance to that, but there's a probability that the NCAA issues will go away. And then it's, what are you getting in Chiron Moore? And I talked to some people today, including, tried to get some insight from people that would know better than I. And we will get to some of that coming up today at 10:17. Phone calls, feedback. We got the Wide Night Omaha 4-down around league blitz thingy. Michigan fans, how you feel about this?
I am not with you on the Pistons bet.
You're not. That's fine.
Wasn't as strong as you thought you were you?
I'm rooting for him.
Well, I am too.
Do you want to jump in with Kang?
Oh, wow. The Doug offer.
I don't want to pit you guys against each other. I feel
We're
bad.
We're
literally pitted against each other.
Yeah, we can't be any more.
But I'm rooting
against.
for you. But now, if I'm rooting for you, I don't want to root against Kang necessarily. And so now you're asking me to team up with Kang, which means I'm rooting against you.
I asked you to root against Kang. I'm not.
Of course, I'll stand by Kang.
Okay. Are you in on this bet?
Sure.
You don't think the Pistons will win 3 in a row?
They won't win 3 in a row.
Okay, so if they do, I buy you both lunch. And if they don't, I get one lunch from Kang and one lunch from Gator.
That's right.
All right. Hey, when it comes to the NFL playoffs, you've got to win one game at a time. But when you bet the NFL playoffs on FanDuel, one game can mean a lot of wins. FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook. They have all your favorite bets like the money line, the spread, and all sorts of prop bets, which can be fun. Right now, every day there's an NFL playoff game. FanDuel is giving all customers All of them, a no-sweat same-game parlay. That means when you combine your bets, you got a bigger chance at a bigger payday. You'll get bonus bets back if your same-game parlay doesn't win. That's a nice safety net. So visit FanDuel.com/Doug if you don't already have an account. That's FanDuel.com/Doug. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or over and present in Michigan. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Maximum refund is $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help. Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Open lines, 248-539-9797. Reacting to the news, Jim Harbaugh is off to the NFL. And kind of definitely brings an end to the Harbaugh era. And it likely starts the Chiron Moore era. We shall see. But they have to post it for 7 days. Although it feels like Michigan will get the word out pretty quickly if Chiron's going to be their guy. And then from there it's up to Chiron. And he's got a lot that you would want. Starting with his credentials. I mean, he came to Michigan as a tight ends coach. When Jim Harbaugh went through a bit of a purge, He survived it, became the O-line coach, and built the Michigan offensive line back to being an elite group. Then he became the offensive coordinator. They had a scheme that has been described as extraordinarily difficult to defend. He has been critical in building the culture inside that locker room, which was pretty damn strong. He's been tested on game day against top 10 opponents and passed, and he's considered an elite recruiter. If you look at Michigan's last 5 recruiting classes, do you know how many of them ranked in the top 10? One ranked 10th, and another one ranked, I believe, 9th, and everything else was in the teens.
So that was a rhetorical question?
Yeah, sorry. Did you know the answer?
I thought it was, I don't think any of them were in the top 10. But
yeah. They haven't had highly ranked classes. Now, it'd be hard to argue that they didn't have great recruiting classes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is they had really good recruiting
There's a difference
classes.
between a bad recruiting class and one that isn't ranked very high. These were good recruiting classes that weren't ranked very high.
I mean, the ranking comes from services, you know.
Yep.
So it's
an inexact science.
It's like a mock draft.
Yeah. But I got a quote from a player's parent that I spoke to today. I said, "What can you tell me about Chiron?" And this is the quote. "That guy is a major reason our son went to Michigan. He's the best recruiter on the staff, hands down. The way he handled every situation was perfect. He's one of one." That's one parent's opinion, but I was trying to find something tangible that we could offer in terms that could back up what kind of recruiter he was. And he's got that reputation, but there it is from a player's parent. But it's different now. When you're the guy and it's your show, there's a lot of everything that goes with it.
Yeah, because everything is under your thumb. It's got your stamp of approval on it. If you've got a rogue coach, that's on you. If you got a kid who goes rogue, that's on you. You're the head of honcho, man, but this is also why you get paid the big bucks to do what you do. And
yep,
from just a pure coaching standpoint on Saturdays, he's proven it. He absolutely proved it, even if, for whatever crazy reason, doesn't get credit for those wins the last 3 of the regular season. He was the guy on the sidelines, not Jim Harbaugh. He's the one who called those plays that said, you know what, let's go away from throwing the ball with JJ against Penn State. He's banged up. Let's protect that, and we'll run it the rest of the way. He's the one that was calling the plays against Ohio State and had them beating the Buckeyes for a third straight year. He's the guy. I think there's no doubt in my mind that he should be the guy. I just wonder if Michigan needed to look elsewhere as well, just to do due diligence and then come back to a quick decision and say, okay, you know what? It's not even close. He's our guy.
Again, this didn't catch them off guard. This wasn't oh crap, you're doing what? You're leaving Michigan?
No, and it shouldn't have, because he's been flirting with the NFL for years. And I do think that the vast majority of the motivation for Jim Harbaugh to go to the NFL is to win a Super Bowl, because he had that taste of it so close. Went up against his brother and lost in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the epitome of coaching, is to win a Super Bowl championship, certainly in the sport of football. And he accomplished the national championship at Michigan. Is there controversy around him? Absolutely. Is he running away from the NCAA? I don't think so. And I say that because he's flirted before. If he had never flirted before with the NFL, and then all of a sudden now does because there's this dark cloud looming over his head, then I would say he's pulling a Pete Carroll. Now, coincidentally, it could look that way, but I think the number one motivation, that's why I said the vast majority for this decision, comes from he wants to win a Super Bowl.
Well,
here's a great opportunity in Los Angeles to work with one of the great young quarterbacks in the NFL, a team that is vastly underachieved for the last couple of years out there, and Jim Harbaugh could be the right guy to get them to start playing to their potential and above it.
So I was able to talk to one Harbaugh source and one Michigan source, and again, that's what was cited, is the one thing Michigan can't offer is a chance to win a Super Bowl. So that was the driving factor. But hey, man, look, I know a lot of people have their minds made up, but I'm intrigued, Michigan fans, how you feel about moving on to Chiron Moore and Harbaugh leaving. It's a tough thing to follow a national championship, but Chiron's going to have, assuming they can keep everybody together, because now they're obviously vulnerable to poaching. But, they should have a very good defense. It feels like a bulk of their offense right now might be on other teams' rosters that they will have to get heavy into the portal to try and fill some of the gaps. But
because of laws in the state of Michigan,
yes,
if they were to hire Chiron Moore, they can't announce it right away. They'd have to wait a week, wouldn't they?
Right. But
so that's another 7 days that they don't want to have to wait.
No, they don't want to. But can they basically essentially hire Chiron Moore?
Yeah, I think
and tell everybody, look, Chiron's going to be the guy.
And wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Say no more.
Yep. 248-539-9797. No Chiron Moore, please. Get Scott Loeffler or make Minter head coach. I'm intrigued as to why. I wish this person would. What do you like about Lefty's got experience. Minter is a great DC. He hasn't been around as long and hasn't been as tested as far as Michigan's. I mean, here's the thing about Minter. Is Jim Harbaugh, they had to keep the train on the tracks, and he turned to Chiron and not Minter to be the coach for that 3-game stretch at the end of the year. So it feels like this comes with Jim Harbaugh's endorsement that it should be Chiron.
Well, that and he may be taking Minter with him.
It feels like the early reporting on this is that Minter and Jay Harbaugh, his son, are the two most likely to leave. But that might be that if Michigan, the best case scenario, if you're a Michigan fan, is those are the only two that leave.
Well, for those that want Loeffler or anybody else, the number one resume bulletin point for Chiron Moore is, I coached him against Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I beat Ohio State. I went into Happy Valley. I beat Penn State. That's kind of like okay, mic drop. Because how many people can say, honestly, how many coaches in college football can say over the last 5 years that they beat Ohio State?
Not many.
No, and let alone he was part of the staff that beat him twice, and then a third time when he was the head coach. It's impressive.
You said something earlier, Doug, that this whole Harbaugh situation is complicated, and it is because the guy literally left you after winning a national championship. So I think as the coach, you would want Jim Harbaugh back, but he comes with a lot of stuff, and I think everyone's happy a lot of stuff is leaving, not necessarily Jim Harbaugh is leaving, because it is be careful what you wish for. The guy won 3 straight Big Ten titles, 3 straight playoff appearances, right? National title. That's really, really hard to do. And Moore may be the guy, but to expect those results, it's not likely. I'm just going based on the field, right? Am I taking the field or am I taking Moore? I'm probably taking the field.
No, to expect. Can you get? Is it unfair to say, Chiron Moore, we'd like you to win a national championship in the next decade? No, it's not unfair to say that. Would we like you to win multiple Big Ten titles in the next decade? No, it's not unfair to say that. What is interesting is I do think we're entering an era of college football where it's going to be easier to keep the natives from being restless because 12 teams make the playoffs. And making the playoff we're not there yet. I can't imagine a coach making the playoff and getting fired, barring, some weird circumstance. So there's going to be more programs with high expectations that are at least satisfied for clearing that hurdle and making the playoff than there was in the past. That might not last forever, but I kind of feel like it's going to help coaches stay employed. I might be wrong on that, but I think more fan bases will be happy because their team, hey, we made the playoff.
I think you're right. The bar is the field's more open to get in, right?
Yep.
And then at some point the natives will get restless and say, all right, getting in is not enough. We got to win one. But yeah, with more teams, he has that chance. I don't know if he's going to be successful or not, but I mean, at least on the bright side for Michigan fans, that dance with the NFL, I mean, I'm sure they were sick of it every single year.
Well, I mean, I kept saying if Harbaugh did all kinds of things that made people say you can't do that and win while he was winning and continued to win. But yeah, I hear you.
Well, you accept it because he won.
Yep.
Eventually, yeah. But can't ignore the elephant in the room either. Part of the winning came as possibly as a result of the cheating scandal too. But winning the championship didn't.
Yeah.
What they did down the stretch is basically exonerated by the NCAA because what the NCAA president said with the whole fair and square thing, but it doesn't forgive what happened the previous 2 seasons, 2.5 seasons.
It'll be intriguing to see, and I'm looking forward to the end of that investigation to find out if it truly was just Connor Stallions, because they've got text messages and emails that they're going through, and that's when you get to the bottom of that, whatever it is, get it all out, because you don't want it hanging over your program. Let's get to the Y9 Omaha 4 Down Around League Blitz thingy, then your phone calls, 97.1 The Ticket. All right, every Thursday, we do something called the Y9 Omaha 4 Down Around League Blitz thingy. That's where Ken comes up with a 6-pack of questions. We flip a coin to see who starts. I'll flip the coin. Let's go. Gator, heads or tails?
Tails.
Gator is called tails, and it is head. I will receive.
All right, here we go, boys. Doug, you're first. All right. Josh Allen, all right, his Bills just lost. And although they didn't make it to the Super Bowl and lose, some people are comparing him to Dan Marino, a guy who made it to one Super Bowl, never got back, great quarterback, but never won one. Is Josh Allen the next Dan Marino, and if not, who is?
Joe Burrow is the next Dan Marino. And the reason I'm going with Joe Burrow is because he does fit the definition of having gone to a Super Bowl.
Went to the Super Bowl early, yeah.
And it's not because I don't think he's competent. I mean, they have a decent cap situation. But he's really, really talented, but so are so many other teams in the AFC. I think there's a lot working against really any individual AFC team. But I could see the depth and talent at the quarterback position spread throughout the AFC keeping a player like Joe Burrow from ever going back.
I'd like your call of Burrow. The thing that has me holding back is I think he's going to be known more for failing because of his injuries than because of the competition.
Could be.
I went with Justin Herbert. I think he's Dan Marino. Tons of yards passing early on in his career. He's got a pair of really good receivers early in his career like Marino had to work with. I don't know if he's going to get to the Super Bowl or if he's going to win the Super Bowl. I like Jim Harbaugh as a professional football coach. Yeah, I think he's a heck of a coach, but I don't know if the Chargers are going to be able to put enough talent around not just him, but just on that team on offense and defense to compete for Super Bowls. Much the same reasons you gave for just the landscape, the competition there. However, Isotoner is just a phone call away. So, to kind of get that glove deal like Marino got, give those out as gifts. Now, maybe that'll tell us who the next Isotoner pitchman is.
I think we might have multiple Dan Marinos. You guys have mentioned a few of the quarterbacks already. This is the AFC has so many good young quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud. Who knows what Anthony Richardson's going to be, but there's just a bunch of them, right? Including the ones you've already mentioned. Specifically to Josh Allen, I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say it's not his fault, all of it, at least. I mean, he's a really good quarterback. I think maybe something with the Bills. Like that team, the team they put around him, it's not his fault. Like I said, Kurt Warner actually put something out yesterday saying he went to 3 Super Bowls, and when he left his last possession, he was either tied or with the lead. His Super Bowl record was 1-2. It's not all on the quarterback, but unfortunately, you get a lot of the credit. You're going to get a lot of the blame. I think Josh Allen is the next Dan Marino. Lots of stats, but never ultimately that Super Bowl. All right, should the Bucs bring back Baker Mayfield?
Nope. But not for the reasons you think. Okay, I've kind of did a little bit of a mea culpa on Baker Mayfield because he had a hell of a second half of the season. But the Bucs need to rebuild all around. He's not the problem there per se. The problem really is that that's an older team that they have in Tampa Bay. They've got to start over, find some youth. And, they drafted a quarterback a couple years ago in Kyle Trask. Maybe see what they have there and try to add some other pieces via the draft and be smart. I don't think spending north of $20 million a season on a 3-year deal or whatever it was going to be for Baker Mayfield is wise.
I would bring him back. And the thing is, I don't think it's going to be very much money. I don't think the market's going to break the bank for Baker Mayfield. So I would bring him back if I were them because he's an affordable alternative, but that doesn't stop them from maybe drafting a younger player and developing him for the future. Because if you look at the quarterback market, if Baker Mayfield's out there, is he getting big money? I can't see it. So I would bring him back, but I'd also develop the next guy.
So it depends on where the Bucs want to go with this, right? Do they want to make a play for the division because the division is so weak right now? Do you go for the big name like Russell Wilson and just, hey, let's reload this through the Tom Brady thing. Let's bring back Mike Evans and look what Baker did. Maybe a better quarterback can get you even further. If I bring back Baker, it's on a 1-year deal if he wants to compete. If he doesn't want to do that, I totally understand, but I just don't believe in him next year, let alone long term. If I'm the Bucs, I do get another quarterback. All right, the Falcons. They've interviewed with Bill Belichick a couple times now. It seems like this has been going on for a week or so. If he doesn't get the job, if Bill Belichick doesn't get the Atlanta Falcons job, is he done as a head coach in the NFL?
I'm going to say something here that's probably not going to be exactly popular and people won't agree with. I wouldn't want him now. He's 71 years old. Any team that needs a head coach, almost any team, not all of them, but they're kind of in rebuilds and maybe a ready-made situation, but that's not the Falcons. And unless I was close and looking for a head coach, I wouldn't want Bill Belichick. And the jobs, like when Dallas didn't come open, and I think that team is kind of close, that would be one that I thought maybe, but honestly, if I'm an owner and I'm not close, I don't want Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. If I was Bill Belichick, I wouldn't want Dallas because you have to work for Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones is the GM and the whole bit there. I wouldn't want that, particularly when you're Bill Belichick and you were the GM with New England. I don't know if that gig is there for him that makes sense. The Philadelphia thing, if they were to move on from Sirianni, would that make sense? Absolutely. I think he could get the job done there, but it doesn't seem like that's what's going to happen. So him in Atlanta, I just don't see that being a good marriage because Atlanta's starting over. They don't have a quarterback, and are they going to go and trade for one of these guys? Are they going to trade for Baker Mayfield? That'd be a reclamation project there. It doesn't seem to work there. I think once his buddy Nick Saban retired, the clock started to tick a little bit louder, and perhaps a lot louder. But because the Falcons are a project, does he really want a project at this point? I think he's done coaching the NFL if he doesn't get that job.
I think he is done coaching this year if he does not get the Falcons job. And I think he coaches next year, and I think the Cowboys call him up. I think McCarthy's got 1 year to get this done. And if he doesn't, they call someone Bill Belichick. I understand what you mean with the Jerry Jones situation, Gator, but I think Belichick, after he doesn't get a job this year, knows, hey, I can't control everything anymore. They brought Bill Parcells back out of retirement. Now, he was 61 when he came back, and Belichick's 71, but I think that's where they go. I think Jerry Jones says, hey, I'll let you pick the players, all that stuff, but just come coach our team for 1 year because I got to win a Super Bowl. All right, staying with Dallas here real quick. Dak, he's getting a lot of blame in Dallas right now. Should the Cowboys move on from Dak Prescott?
No. Dak's good enough, but you don't have to pay him these crazy numbers that are being thrown out there either. Maybe give him some incentives to reach those numbers, and that's how you pay him. But that team's good enough. What they need is a Skip Bayless exorcism. Sorry, I just felt like taking a shot, Skip. They also need a running back, realistically. To go ahead and get a running back, get another defender. You've got the team that's there. They are very talented, despite what happened against Detroit and what happened against Green Bay. That's a very talented football team that should have gone further. I don't think it's a McCarthy problem. I don't think it's a team talent problem. I think it's a Jerry Jones problem, probably more than anything else.
Yeah, they got to figure out why they suddenly couldn't pressure Jordan Love and let him slice him apart. Now, are we talking about bringing him back for the coming season or signing him beyond that?
Coming back.
Okay, yeah. If they cut him, it would cost him more money than if they kept him. His dead cap number is almost $62 million.
Can they trade him?
Yeah, I don't think that they would be. I don't. Even if they traded him, his signing bonus is only $18 million of that. It would still take a massive cap hit. So I think it makes more sense,
right?
Yes, but I think it makes more sense to play out that 1 year with him.
I definitely bring Dak back. I think he gets a lot of slack because maybe he's never going to be Patrick Mahomes or elite in this league, but Brett Holmes said it. It's a lot harder to get better at quarterback, and it's a lot easier to get worse. Dak is definitely good enough to win you playoff games and get you to a Super Bowl. They need to work on things around him. He is part of the problem in big games. He's got to step up more, but if I'm Dallas, I'm not putting all my blame on Dak Prescott. All right. Mistake or not to bring back Nick Sirianni to the Eagles, or did he actually deserve another chance? It was just a bad stretch there.
So this is one of the tougher questions you asked because I don't cover that team and I don't feel comfortable saying some people should be fired if I don't know the ins and outs. However, he's smarmy enough that I can say it's a mistake. He's Nick Smarmiani. That's so bad. I apologize. I don't like it.
Is that your final word?
Yes. Yeah, that was a reach there.
Yeah. Look, if the players have tuned him out, he's got to go. And if you're the organization, you know that. I think he's complete skadoosh, but I think he also can coach. I think we're too quick to move on from people when you don't get the result that you want, the instant gratification. My gut tells me he's not the guy. However, I think he deserves another season to show, or at least you start the season with him. And if this thing is clearly off the rails, then you've got to move on. But I give him another year.
Call me too quick then, because I'd move on, and here's why. He lost both his coordinators last year after he made the Super Bowl, and this year, they didn't even finish. They would lost 6 or 7 games or 7 or 8, whatever it was, and he's losing both his coordinators again. Maybe this guy is way too dependent on his coordinators and not enough of a leader of men to keep this team together, keep the locker room together. And another reason I would have moved on is there are a ton of good available coaches right now. And so of Vrabel or whoever you want to go get, Ben Johnson, they could have had a chance to those guys. I would have took my shot, but they're bringing them back, so we'll see how it goes. Wide right. Buffalo Bills fans, they hate those two words. And they lost the playoff game again because of the words wide right. Is a missed field goal the worst way to lose a game in the NFL?
I tell you what, it's awful. It's brutal, and I think it's almost the worst. I think turning the ball over before you have that game-winning kick opportunity, I think that is it. An interception, a fumble. You don't work the clock the way you should, and all of a sudden it ticks down. Or you just fail on fourth down, you got to go for it because you're just 5 yards beyond that field goal range. That's worse to me than the field goal itself.
To me, it's not actually even close. The worst way is when you don't do anything wrong and lose a game, like a bad call.
Oh.
A bad call at the end that cost you a game, Brad Allen. That's one that might be, I think, of worse. I'll give you another one that's worse, is when you do everything right. Let's say you complete a pass down to the half-yard line, but the officials can't tell if you're in or not, so they go to review it. But with the review, since you're out of timeouts, comes a 10-second runoff, and there's less than 10 seconds left in the game. So the officials couldn't do their job. They have to review the play. With the review comes a 10-second runoff. They review it. You're short of the end zone, but it's game over instead of you getting a chance to spike the ball.
Do you have an actual example where those two plays happen?
I'll see if I can think of one.
Okay.
When it's not your fault, when the officials don't do their job and you are the victim, that's a worse way to lose a game.
Doug, you're probably right. I mean, that the bad call is probably number one. But I got to tell you, followed very closely by missing a kick, and I'll explain why. Special teams, these guys are barely on the field, okay? As John Jansen, his disdain for the kickers and punters, I feel almost the exact same way. They have way too much say in an outcome of a game where everyone else is busting their ass, tackling, playing through injuries. They're affecting the game way too much. So then you try out this kicker who maybe hasn't even kicked the entire game other than a kickoff, and the whole game depends on his foot. That's terrible. The only thing worse, I think, special teams-wise, is like trouble with the snap or something. You just can't lose through special teams like this.
And that concludes the Y9 Omaha 4-down around the league blitz thingy. It's Carson Anderson here on a Thursday. Let's get back to your open line calls. A lot of people want to talk about the Jim Harbaugh departure from Michigan. Chiron Moore seems to be on deck and walking to the plate. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1, The Ticket. Doug Hart, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Let's go to Trevor on 97.1. Hi, Trevor.
Hey, good afternoon, fellas. How you doing?
We're doing good.
Great show. Thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it. So I guess I'm really happy for Harbaugh. I've been a Harbaugh fan. I'm obviously sad to see him go, but he certainly deserved it. And I definitely think that Moore deserves the shot to be the next head coach. I guess a couple things concern me. One would be, you mentioned it earlier, Doug, how patient do you stay with him? Because the football world and the dynamics of pay to play, they are definitely changing the sport. And are we going to be more focused on how many wins he gets against Ohio State? Or is it going to be more, how many times is he in the playoffs and how many national championships has he won? And then I'm also concerned about what this might mean for Jesse Minter, just because I have so much respect for the whole team, but that defense has just been incredible this year. And I could just see Harbaugh maybe trying to take him with him to the NFL and what that might mean for our defense.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I can't provide anything inside other than what's been floated out there already. That Minter is a likely candidate to go with Jim Harbaugh, as is Jim's son Jay. But they think that might be it, which would be probably, all things considered, a win for Michigan in a, that they only would lose those coaches. But we'll see how it plays itself out. I mean, it's, I don't mean overall a win. I mean, just that he could take a lot of guys. A lot of guys could go with.
Right.
But the question is, how many does he feel he needs to take? Does he feel a sense that he should leave some guys behind to help Chiron out? He seems to have endorsed Chiron, and he wants. It seemed like Chiron was a succession plan, but does he want to undermine Chiron when he has his choice of other coaches? So we'll see. We'll see how it plays itself out.
Yeah.
But there seems to be just common belief that Minter is at the core an NFL guy, and he will go back to the NFL.
Yeah, he's got the talent for it. But, I appreciate it, guys. I hope you have a blessed day.
Yeah, you too, Trevor. Thank you. 248-539-9797. Jackie, you're next on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Jackie.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
All right.
So while I'm very excited and very happy for Jim, and I will root for the Chargers to win a Super Bowl, obviously this means an end to the Harbaugh era as a coach. But I don't think that it ends as the Harbaugh era at Michigan. I kind of see him, after winning the Super Bowl, maybe coming back as the athletic director, kind of similar to what Bo did back later on in his years.
I would find that to be, first of all, I don't think Jim Harbaugh has any interest in being an administrator. Jim Harbaugh, I mean, there was a story that I think it was Greg McElroy told when Greg McElroy met up with Harbaugh a few years ago.
The former Bama quarterback. Who I think kicked around in the NFL briefly, and Jim said to him, hey, so you're out of football, huh? And he goes, no, I'm still in football. I'm broadcasting now, and I like it because I'm involved still, and I stay around the game. And Jim's response was, so you don't love football? And McElroy was like, no, I love football, coach. And he goes, if you love football, you play football, you coach football, you die. Okay.
So,
all right.
That was apparently Jim's life plan, was to play football, coach football, and die. And I don't think he has any interest in being an administrator, nor do I think he would be a good one.
Well, I think that he's a good advocate for the players themselves, and what he was pushing for, the, getting paid and everything. So I think there's a part of him that likes being the advocate for the players.
I agree with that completely.
Voice for the players.
Yep.
And so maybe especially if as he does get older, we've seen him mild down from even when he started coaching Michigan 9 years ago. So I understand what you're saying, and I think that the competitiveness is in him. But when you get older, I think that would be a good way to still be close to the program and be a mentor and be an advocate and do everything he wants. And
well, he's not going to be able to coach forever. That's true. And as much as that may be his plan, I just can't see him as an administrator.
Well, and some of the advocating is also sweeping under the rug. So,
like what?
Well, I mean, the Mozzie Smith stuff and all that. I mean, that's.
Well, I know you have an issue with it, but it's.
Well, there's a laundry list. I mean, that's not the only one, but there's a laundry.
He said he advocated for his player, and he believed that those charges would be dropped, and they were.
I am saying this. There's no question he loves his players, and he loves the athletes. There's no question about that, and if that's what you want to go on, that's fine. But the way you go about it was met with lots of questions, not just from me.
You can also either credit him or blame him with the portal. He was the first one that went to the podium and said, we need to allow players to transfer right away. And it was something that he was in favor of. Some people
pay the players too. Yeah.
He wants to pay the players and more than just NIL. He thinks they should be paid directly. He is an advocate for players, but I don't think he wants to do it in a administrative role. I think he has zero interest in that. I think he wants less of that and more just X's and O's. 248-539-9797. Phone calls, feedback. Carson Anderson. We'll get to more of your reaction to that. You brought up something, by the way. I just have a quick follow-up. Is there still such a thing as isotonic gloves?
Yes.
There are? They're still out there?
Yes, because I say this. They had the Hard Knocks in season was with the Dolphins, and there was at some point this year they showed Dan Marino in a room with I don't know if he was in the quarterback room or if he was just in a coach's room, and he handed them out as gifts.
Really?
Yeah. Or he handed them out as gifts, or they got him a gift. I forget how it was. It was one way or the other. The isotonic gloves made a
which he did TV commercials for.
Yes.
Which I haven't seen in forever.
Take care of the hands and take care of you, I believe is what it said.
Well, interesting. Old reference that you made there. And I'm like, those things still exist, but we were in the middle of the blitz thing and we didn't have time. 248-539-9797. More of your phone calls and feedback. Michigan fans, how you feeling about Jim Harbaugh leaving and Chiron Moore? Next up, you comfortable with this? You okay with it? You mad? You happy? Where do you stand today? In the meantime, we'll get into some Lions stuff. The matchup with San Francisco. There's a lot looming over this game, and that will determine which way it goes. We'll start touching on that in the 11 o'clock hour here on 97.1 The Ticket. Doug Karsh, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket, open lines, 248-539-9797. Okay, so we spent most of the first hour talking about Jim Harbaugh, and if you want to keep going that direction, you can. Wolverine fans, how are you feeling about this? Are you comfortable with Chiron Moore? We gave you the sort of the pluses and minuses of Chiron and what he's bringing to the table. And also, not having Jim Harbaugh is, not having a guy that has proven he can win, but it's also not having, as many distractions or there's more stability now. So there's that as well. But Gator, there's also a Lion game coming up on Sunday.
Yes, there is, Doug.
It's something called the NFC Championship game.
Yes.
I'm going to start with this. I think Debo's playing this weekend. And I think any player that can this is the kind of game that there is no tomorrow. If you can remotely go, you go. I think Debo is playing in this game. And I think, and obviously Dan Campbell said this week, of course we're preparing for him to play in this game. And he is a difference maker. Now, is he hampered by that shoulder? Is this one of those where he just gets a shot and it goes numb and he doesn't feel anything the entire game? But there are times in players' careers where they just got to go. And I think Debo's going to play this weekend.
I would certainly prepare as if he were going to play. I'm not so sure he is. It's a shoulder injury. It's the same shoulder. They had a hairline fracture in earlier. They're not sure if this is if this was just a bad decision to let him keep playing, and it's gotten worse. I'm not so sure he's going to play. But if you're the Lions, you have to prepare as if he is. And if he's not, obviously it's an advantage to the Lions because he's one of their best players on offense for sure.
Do you want him to play?
I don't care.
Don't you?
No.
Kang, do you want him to play?
No. I do care. I actually, my prediction is kind of between you guys. I think he plays, but he gets knocked out early and he doesn't come back. I think he tries to do what, like you say, Doug, hey, shoot me up with whatever, give me whatever, tape it up. I'll go out there, and the first decent shot this guy takes, he's like, that hurt. I'm out of this game. It's the last two times he's hurt his shoulder, he's just left the game. He's never returned. I think that's the same thing that's going to happen this time. But, yeah, I don't want him to play because I just want the Lions to win.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear. We talked about the record. When they have a healthy Purdy, Debo, and McCaffrey for an entire game, they're 18-1. And when they don't have those guys, they're 2-4. And they just won one of those games to go from 1-4 to 2-4 with a win over Green Bay. And watching that Green Bay game again this week, how bad Purdy was for much of that game, I don't know that you can understate it or overstate it. He was really bad, whether it was, throwing the one right to Savage, the DB, early in the game, throwing one at Christian McCaffrey's feet at one point in that on a wide open swing pass, throwing to no one on a number of occasions. And here's the thing. It comes right down to the end. And Brock Purdy has not had a good game. And San Francisco has a must-have-it drive. They got to have it. And in that drive, he totally took what the defense gave him and made, I would say, one high degree of difficulty throw on a third down slant to Ayuk where he fitted into a tight window. I'm not even sure that was the person he should have gone to, but he did, and he did put the ball through a keyhole at a time where they needed him to, and they got the first down, kept the drive alive. But other than that, Purdy just wisely took what the defense gave him. And my concern and our concern collectively should be that the Lions defense gives you more than most, unfortunately. While they have been better, if you just take what the defense gives you, the Lions defense this year has given you more than most. Now, not as much as they used to, right? It's improving, but it's still a concern.
Well, the concern I have is that he was great on that last drive. 12 plays, 69 yards. did it in like 5 minutes. I think he was 6 of 7 on that drive.
And the one was a drop.
He made plays with his feet. He had a couple carries in there. The one was for 9 yards, got down right by the goal line. If you want to point out all the foibles earlier in the game, and I'm not saying you, but people, I get it, because he looked human or less than average, which is great. But he also showed you that he can still look like that quarterback that led the NFL in quarterback rating this year. He's good. He's very good, and he's got weapons to work with. And on that last drive, he didn't have Deebo Samuel and still got it done. Why? Because of his arm and because of the guys he's got. Kelsey is awfully good. This just in. Ayuk is really good. Having Christian McCaffrey, it's really good. And despite him playing like Mung for much of that game, the defense picked them up. Keep in mind how well the Packers are playing going into it, right? And the Packers had a big third quarter. They got the 15 points in the third quarter, and they got shut out in the fourth. The Niners did a job on Jordan Love in that game and made him look like an inexperienced quarterback that he is. But during the season, Jordan Love was great. Where was that? That's what has me concerned if I'm a Lions fan and the Lions going into it. Pick your poison, man, because San Francisco is such a complete team, offensively and on defense as well. They don't have many weaknesses. So if they do show weakness, you better exploit it and take advantage. Because if you don't, if it's just like, oh, hey, Brock Purdy turned the ball over and it's in Detroit 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line, if Detroit doesn't score, what a wasted opportunity. And you can't waste those opportunities against this team.
Well, Purdy, like that was bad Purdy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is such a thing as bad Goff.
Yeah.
And they're both they both don't operate in a vacuum. They are usually a number of circumstances that lead to bad Purdy, bad Goff. If bad Purdy shows up or bad Goff shows up, Lions or Niners are screwed, right? They're just screwed. Now, we haven't seen...
Except bad Purdy was there, and they still won.
They did, but I don't think they beat the Lions with bad Purdy. Because I'll give you, like, Green Bay made hay with a couple things. They had high volume of passes to the tight end. The Lions have a better tight end than Green Bay. And they ran the ball. The Lions have a better run game than Green Bay. So I don't think they beat the Lions with bad Purdy. And I don't think the Lions beat the Niners. I mean, Goff has to be on his game. The offensive line has to be on his game. All the things that have aligned perfectly for the Lions to be an elite offense have to align again for this game. But, I mean, I really think that this matchup isn't the worst in the world for the Lions if they play well. Now, some of that goes on a defense or an offense that makes you look bad. They're just better than you, and they make you look bad. But you can't look bad on your own, right? You have to make them earn it.
Yeah, and San Francisco likes to just set their guys back there on defense and play a one-on-one or whatever. They don't, they're not coming at you with many blitzes, and that's incumbent on the Lions receivers to win their battle. Somebody's got to win, and Goff has to find out who won and get them the football, and they'll have that opportunity. And again, they have obviously the Lions can run the ball a little bit, but San Francisco is really good against the run, and they've got really good players across the board. I don't expect the Lions win this game, but I'm feeling better about their chances every day that goes on, because you believe in the head coach and you believe in the quarterback and what their leadership is and how that can set them up for success. But the one thing that we know is that nobody is overlooking San Francisco, right? Nobody's doing that. Against the Rams, I think there were some fans that thought they'd be really chesty about the game. I was pretty chesty about their chances against the Rams, and it was a tight game. Lions got it done. I think the Bucs, I think the vast majority of Lions fans thought, we got this, no problem, no issue at all, and it kind of wasn't an issue. This is the game. This is the one that everybody looks at and goes, oh, well, it's San Francisco. This is the one from the middle of the season. People were identifying San Francisco before they went in their 3-game losing streak. This is the best team in the NFC. And here it is. So the good news is no one in that locker room is overlooking them.
I think Lions fans, on paper, there's no doubt the Niners are a better team overall, on paper. They're just a more complete team than the Lions. Doesn't mean the Lions can't beat them. I'm just saying on paper, they're a more complete team. Their defense specifically is better than the Lions' defense. I think some Lions fans are overlooking Purdy, though. I'd caution them because Purdy is really good. And I tell you who Purdy is. He's a lot like Jared Goff. He's not flashy. He doesn't do all these crazy explosive plays. The dude just gets the job done. They're both top 5 in touchdowns and yardage. All right, they both are great leaders of that offense. They both command their offenses. So I would, if as a fan, and I don't think the Lions players are overlooking him, but as fans, don't think Purdy's just some kind of game manager. This guy puts up the numbers. He leads this offense. I think it's all about matchups, right? I think one of the first things Dan Campbell said when he took over as the Lions head coach was you find their weakness, you exploit it. You use your strength against their weakness. I'm looking at Ambry Thomas. Anytime he's on the field, I'm targeting him. He's been okay as the whole season.
As a DB.
As a DB, yeah. But that last game versus the Packers, he got exposed, and I expect the Lions to expose him again.
248-539-9797. Got a question for Lions fans. Wanted to get into this matchup a little bit. We will get to that question today at 11:20. Push your phone calls and feedback. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Hey, Twin Peaks in Michigan has waited 9 years for this. Detroit fans have waited almost 30. Your home team is playing in the championship game, and Twin Peaks cannot wait to give you the best game day experience in the state. Championship Sunday, it just hits better. It's your favorite Twin Peaks Lodge. Do not be late, as it will be a packed house well before the 6:30 kickoff. Wall-to-wall TVs, 29-degree frozen draft beers, hand-breaded 2-order wings, house-made queso, flatbread pizzas, anything you want on game day, they will deliver. You're dreaming about Sunday yet? Because we haven't even mentioned the beautiful Twin Peaks girls serving it all up. If you're not flying out west, don't sit at home with cold tortilla chips and cheese dip out of a can. Get to Twin Peaks early to feel that tailgate experience. Enjoy the stadium atmosphere with all the other fans who've been waiting a lifetime for this. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views. Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket, open lines, 248-539-9797. All right, so question for Lions fans. We got a great story today from our guy Kang. Who in your world, in your sphere, has caught you off guard with their sudden Lions fandom? And we bring this up because, Kang, let's start with the backdrop here. You've grown up in this area, giant sports fan. You've created a career for yourself as a successful producer.
Well, tell my wife that.
On a moderately successful talk radio show in Detroit. And so you're a big sports guy. You always have been. And you got married. And how would you describe your wife's interest in sports?
She likes sports, enjoys it. It's not one of these people that, doesn't understand it or hates it or anything like that. She enjoyed it before she met me. Maybe obviously not to the level I have, but
right.
She knows about it.
But she can hold her own in a sports conversation.
Sure. Yeah, she was going to Detroit games before she met me.
Okay. So she, with her job, she works with some people internationally, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I understand there's some people here from other countries working with her right now.
Yes. A lot of them weren't born here or even grew up here in this country. A lot of them are cricket fans, actually.
Okay.
That's like the international sport.
Right. So I know cricket. I played cricket when I was in Australia.
This guy.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun game.
Was that the time you flew out by yourself?
Both times.
Okay.
I went to Australia. Yeah, I played cricket. I had friends that played, and they were like, when they said they were playing a side that stinks, I could play with them because they figured we can play the American and we won't lose, and they were right. But anyway, so your wife at work was caught off guard by an interaction with a bunch of guys from where?
Most of them from India, I think that she spoke with, and maybe Pakistan.
And they're cricket fans.
Yeah, big time cricket. Like when they have those, I don't know what they call it, the World Series or World Cup, whatever. I mean, that's, they're all locked in.
Kapil Dev? Are they Kapil Dev fans?
You would know more than me,
Yeah,
Doug.
he was an all-rounder for India way back in the day. Anyway, it's a million years ago. Back in the Kepler Vessels day. Alan Borders.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, so what happened?
So they caught her off guard. Yeah, she's going to work, and I don't know, lunch break, whatever, and water cooler talk. And one guy or a couple of them bring up to her they read something about the decibels levels at Ford Field, and they don't know much about football or decibel levels and all this stuff. And they asked her what was going on. I mean, the Lions winning or what do they do? All that stuff. She explained to them a playoff game. It's a big deal here. All that stuff. We haven't won forever. Crowd gets crazy. And they actually they thought this weekend coming up right now is the Super Bowl. Like, this is the end. Like, they don't know anything about football, about the Lions. And so they started asking her about it, and she's the one holding class, I guess.
Like she's suddenly doing kind of our job, like taking questions from callers.
Yeah, they were interested. They're like, this is exciting, right?
She was fansplaining.
Right, there you go.
Okay, so...
But caught her off guard. She's like,
off guard.
These guys want to know about the Lions. This is Lions fear, one pride.
So here's the thing. Where have you been most caught off guard by Lions fandom? Somebody you weren't expecting suddenly is into the Lions.
I have a couple instances where they're totally different, though. One is my friend, the Panic Advisor. She likes football quite a bit.
Yep.
She pays attention to Lions and all that. But she said to me the other day, I don't have any Lions gear. Like, you don't have any Lions gear? She goes, no.
And she's been here all her life, basically? Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, interesting. Duly noted. Put it up in the memory bank there.
Yep.
And then I talked to her the next day, and she says, how I told you I don't have any Lions gear? I'm like, yeah. She said, one of the people at work got me a Lions shirt. One of these inexpensive shirt you can find at some department store, really.
Right.
But it's she goes, it has I think it's number 14. I'm like, okay, so that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a good shirt, good one to have. She goes, okay, yeah, great. So So she's got that. She's like, it doesn't fit all that way. It's a little big. I'm like, it's okay. You got gear. She's like, I got gear. And still duly noted. At some point, I should probably get some gear. But then I got a text. This is just strange. We bring this up. I got a text last night from my cousin who lives in Madison, Wisconsin. Big Packers fan.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he just sends me out that he is uncharted territory. Your cousin is a temporary Lions fan.
Really?
So now he's totally all in on the Lions for the rest of the season. Now, once we get into next season, it's different. He called me shortly after, and we had a long conversation last night. But yeah, he's on board for the Lions. He's on the train.
Wow. So this is a lifelong Wisconsinner?
Yeah.
Wisconsinite?
Yeah.
What are they?
Wisconsinite sounds good.
Okay.
Wisconsonian?
Wisconsonian? Yeah, whatever it might be. Lifelong Cheesehead, who is now a temporary Lions fan.
Temporary Lions fan.
Where has it struck you, out of the blue, unexpected Lions fandom in your world? Like Packer guy or Indian dudes? 248-539-9797. Phone calls, feedback. We're getting a ton of feedback on this Lions game against San Francisco. If the Lions are to win, it's because Gibbs has a monster game. San Francisco's head coach is an elite offensive scheme guy, so they exploit holes on the Lions defense. That's from Joe and Ken. Another one here from Bobby in White Lake. I feel like this game will be like the last games, except opposite for us. We are the Bucks and unfortunately lose. Same game flow, just the same game flow type of game. That's from Bobby in White Lake. David Warren says, we are the hottest team in San Francisco is not beating our Lions. We have Campbell, they don't. Wow. 248-539-9797. Of course, we're also taking your calls on Jim Harbaugh and your feedback on him leaving. Michigan fans, how do you feel about it? You confident in Chiron? You congratulate coach and move on? Were you upset with all the dance every year with the NFL? Are you kind of relieved it's over? Where do you stand on Harbaugh leaving? Let's go to Dre on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Dre.
Hey, good morning, fellas. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Outstanding. Hey, I was just telling your screener, man, it's kind of funny. I was I work for an insurance carrier, very well-known insurance carrier that's based out of Columbus. I'm sure you guys know who that is. And so a lot of our team members, even though I live here in Michigan, Detroit, some of our team members, a lot of them are from the Columbus area. So, of course, they hate Michigan. And, and I always get them jabs about how we're, just taking over,
dominant
with Michigan over Ohio State.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure. And so, but when I go to, when we used to have team meetings in person, I would always wear Lions gear. And they would just clown me because, we weren't, we were the same old Lions for the longest. Now, even though I give them jabs about Michigan beating Ohio State, they're now on board and want to know more about the Lions because they know I'm a big fan. And it's kind of cool, where they're getting on board now with the Lions, even though they still hate, the Wolverines. And I'm just enjoying the moment, and seeing all of these people from the outside, rooting for our team.
It's really weird. It's really strange. There was a story in the San Francisco Chronicle about how the mainstream media, the national media, was rooting against San Francisco. Joe Shad, a longtime NFL writer who writes for the Palm Beach Post and covers the Dolphins, put out a tweet. I mean, he's based in Florida. Who would you prefer to see win Sunday, Detroit or San Francisco? 86% of the people said Detroit.
That's
they don't forget down there. Right. They're still salty that they beat Marino.
And it's awesome to see that, and it's pretty wild. I wish my company, because if you saw my company vehicle, it's silver and the blue with the logo matches our uniforms, our Lions uniforms, and my jacket. And I bought a magnetic, the Lions emblem. Mm-hmm. And it fits right over the centerpiece of our particular emblem, but the company they don't allow it. But I'm not
surprised.
To ride around. Oh man, I would just love it. That would be great advertising for the company too. People would eat it up, but they won't let me do it. I am going to take a snapshot. I'm going to put it on there temporarily and take a picture just so I can have it
Yeah.
as, just something in my memorabilia.
Yeah.
But it would just be so awesome if they would just let me just show that support, but they're not going to do it,
Maybe not post. Maybe don't post it on social media.
Maybe just show your
Maybe
friends.
just have it for yourself.
You see on the USA Today a couple days ago, the headline was, "Sorry San Francisco 49ers, the Detroit Lions are the people's champion." That's USA Today.
That's funny. 248-539-9797. Where have you run into unexpected Lions fandom? It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Pistons win. Can they get two in a row? I got the Wizards coming up. Wings back at home tonight against Philly. 248-539-9797. Where have you caught an unexpected Lions stray? What I mean by that is somebody you never expected suddenly is a Lions fan and talking about the Lions 248-539-9797. I think we've all probably come across this at one point or another. In the meantime, we got Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan, and it looks like Chiron Moore, barring any major surprise, will be Michigan's next head coach. I gave you the reasons why. I mean, look, some people don't love that hire. Sean writes in, come on, guys, is Moore going to bring kids to Michigan like Jim Harbaugh? Not a chance. Well, I mean, we've often heard he's his best recruiter, and I talked to a parent of a player today that said he was the reason the kid came to Michigan. It's because of Chiron Moore, and that he's the best recruiter on the staff by far. So we'll see.
Ultimately, winning does. And this is going to be an interesting year for Michigan because this will either you maintain, not that I wouldn't expect them to win the national championship, but if they get back into the 12-team playoff, even though it's expanded, it's still being top 12 a year after the national championship run.
And given what they lost.
And given what they're losing, that speaks volumes to him as a coach, and that cures everything.
Yep. 248-539-9797. Let's go to Patrice. You're on 97.1 The Ticket. Hello, Patrice.
Hello, how are you today?
We're good.
Good. Excuse my voice. I was at the game on Sunday, so don't have it back. But I'm a dance teacher, so everything up until Sunday, Taylor Swift. To see Taylor Swift at the game, I just have to kind of ignore that because I want her gone from my football viewing. And but now, after Sunday, it was Spirit Week. All the kids are wearing the little girls. Everybody's wearing their Lions gear, talking about Lions, talking about the team, guys on the team. And did you see this? Did you see this? Like, they were really into watching the game, and that was never ever talked about because I'm a huge Lions fan.
All right, so you're teaching, what age group of kids are you teaching dance?
3 to 18.
Okay, and these are they're
quite a range.
Yeah, it is mostly girls.
Mostly girls, yeah.
And they have their biggest fandom was Taylor Swift, and now it's shifted to the Lions.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Since Sunday.
That's awesome.
Everything is all about the Lions, and they're being specific. Like, did you see that play? Did you see when they did this? Did you see when they were calling Jared Goff? It was the best thing. I was just loving being in class this week because everybody was talking about it. It was great. It was so great.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing, Patrice. 248-539-9797. Rollo, you're next on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Rollo.
Hey, it's Rollo. But I'm so excited. This is so great. I go to the Eastern Market tailgate. I get dressed up. Been doing it for years. Hang out with the Crack Man, the Blue Crew, and the Tailgaters. But my girlfriend comes. She only comes to get dressed up. But she doesn't really care as much about the game. And that's great. And she loves the dress up part of it and everything. After the game on Sunday, I get a text, get tickets. And I'm like, what? I mean, she knows how much they're going to be, but I got them. And then our neighbor, we have a place out in Pacifica, California, San Francisco fan. He goes, I don't care. I'm all behind these Lions. I want to go with you guys. So I got a converted Niners fan and my girlfriend, and we're in the second row at the game. It's going to be the greatest time. I'm so excited for it.
I mean, I got to tell you, is this somebody, you said your friend out in California is a converted Lions fan?
Yeah, his name's Rybo.
Converted 49ers fan. They were a 49ers fan, and they're dropping the 49ers for the Lions?
Well, to be honest, he was an Oakland fan, but Oakland left.
Oh, okay.
And then he was like, oh, I'm kind of on the Niners. But he's like, screw these Niners. I'm all about the Lions. And he's like, bring me gear. We're going to the game. And, yeah, we got tickets, and we're going to Santa Clara tomorrow.
It's awesome.
It's excellent.
248-539-9797. Let's go to Brandon. You're next. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
All right, Brandon.
Great.
So my wife, she has had no affiliation to sports whatsoever her entire life. And after her watching how passionate of a fan I was last year with the Lions, she decided at the beginning of this season, I'll give football a try. And so she has been an insane fan now this entire season. And I just bought her an Aiden Hutchinson jersey just at the end of the regular season for Christmas. And now she's saying she wants a Anzalone jersey. And she says that she's got 3 blonde men in her life, me, Hutch, and Anzalone.
Oh, my God. But she's all in now, huh?
Yeah, she's through and through blue, man. I'm totally stoked about it.
That's really cool. Brandon, thanks. 248-539-9797. Unexpected Lions fandom. Where have you come across it in your life of late? Let's go to Robert next. What's up, Robert?
How you guys doing?
All right, Robert.
I love the show, first of all. I've lived in the Baltimore area now for about, 17, 18 years now, and I've been Sunday ticket subscriptions. I don't know how much money I've spent on that, but do the math. It's not a pretty number. And and so, you endure those junk seasons that we all are well aware of. And so all my Baltimore friends have turned into pseudo Lions fans as their second team in a way, because they're just so happy that all of my investment, quote unquote, that we've all been through the torture. They see it firsthand. They're like, wow, you have a fun. Well, and the other part of it too is, we frankly, objectively have a super fun team to watch. Just Gibbs, Laporta, all those dudes. And then on top of that, you got Dan Campbell, who just, if you don't like Dan Campbell, something's wrong with you.
Then you don't like football.
You don't like football, and you're not an American. No, I'm just joking. But there's a second part of it that's a little bit more ominous from my Baltimore friends. They're like, yeah, I hope you guys win on Sunday because I want to face you guys in the Super Bowl. And I'm like, don't get too chesty. Rematches are tough to win. And I think Lamar's a different animal altogether. And, he would be hard to stop. But, that second part of it, I'm like, all right, if you wish too hard, you might get burned by that. So the Lion might just bite back.
Well, look, this Baltimore's, I think, pretty much the given favorite in this whole thing. They're harder to find weaknesses than any other team that's left. But they're going up against the power of Mahomes. They're going up against that guy. And that guy is, if he goes and pulls this off, this will be his biggest playoff win outside of a Super Bowl win, to do it on the road as an underdog. They've always been at home. They went on the road for the first time with Mahomes last weekend and won. This would be bigger.
It would be huge. And that's the thing. The Baltimore Kansas City game, if you feel chesty about Baltimore, that means you're betting against Patrick Mahomes. Is it wise to bet against Patrick Mahomes? He proved a lot last week in his team beating Buffalo.
I think he
does not have the weapons that he has had in the past. And they're going to be without an offensive lineman, and Joe Thuney's going to be out for this one. That's a big loss for them. Everything against him, but it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes. He just makes things happen.
Honestly, he's just he's an X factor, the variable that kind of defies logic.
Baltimore kind of feels like they got that too with Lamar Jackson. Lamar can play that way as well.
Yeah, this is a huge game for Lamar, though. The thing with Mahomes is you can't bet against him because you've seen him do it so many times. Lamar hasn't done it yet, and that's what Lamar's. He's playing for his own legacy, basically, at this point. Because all the people that never thought he's just a running quarterback, he can't stay healthy, all this stuff. The guy's about to win his second MVP, but he needs to do it in the postseason. The Mahomes thing, 6 AFC title games in a row, that's unheard of. We'll never see Brady again, right? Like the 7 Super Bowls, whatever. Mahomes is the closest. And if he can get this done on the road, his second road game ever in the playoffs, I think you start talking about him as one of the elites of all time.
248-539-9797. More of your phone calls and feedback coming up. It's Carson Anderson. Just a reminder, you can stream the show using the Odyssey app. Download it for your mobile device today. Stream anywhere in the United States or Canada. AUDACY. Someday you'll wish you have it. And I know we got a ton of people listening out of market these days.
Yes, we do.
With displaced Lions fans all around the country. You can also stream to our website, 971 The Ticket. And if you want video, if you want to see what we look like, how dashing we are, go to twitch.tv, search up 971 The Ticket. And also youtube.com, search up 971 The Ticket. On Twitch, I got the streaming chat. Good community. Always like to hear what they're up to. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Doug Hart, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket, open lines, 248-539-9797. Let's get back to your open line calls. Next up is Kyle. You're on 97.1 The Ticket. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Doing great.
So I moved here to Michigan in 2016 from Nebraska. My family's from here. I've always been a Lions fan, always been a Michigan fan. The Lions were me and my dad's thing. He unfortunately died in September, the Friday before the Seahawks game. And when my mom came to town to kind of get everything taken care of, we were watching the Seahawks game. And, obviously kind of a gut punch for them to lose that game, but, still exciting as the Lions have been all year. But I think my mom really knew that I was going to miss having that, like that connection with my dad. And so every Sunday or every day after the Lions have played since that day, she has called me, talking about the game. And so she's like fully adopted them. She's from Columbus. She's been an Ohio State fan her whole life. So we've never been on the same page in terms of like football. So it's really cool to kind of like have her finally be on like the same team as me. So we kind of have like that thing, and she's really stepped up since my dad passed away. And so now seeing her be all excited about it has been really cool. So it's just been really great. She's an awesome lady.
I was sorry to hear about your dad, and that is cool that mom is like, okay, I'll step in.
I got this.
Yeah. That's great.
And, I've been a huge Dan Campbell fan. I studied sports management at Eastern, and one of the things we always talked about was in class was culture. And so when Dan Campbell took over, like that was the biggest thing, was, the Lions needing a culture guy like that. So she knows how much I love Dan Campbell. So she's even gone on like YouTube and watched like some of his like video press conferences and stuff like that. And she absolutely loves him now too. So it's just really cool to see how he specifically has just gotten so many people on the train. And I'm just so excited to see where things keep going from here.
Thank you, Kyle. 248-539-9797. Where have you come across unexpected Lions fandom? Caught you off guard. I love the story. Kang, his wife works with a bunch of guys who are from India, who are way into cricket, who suddenly started talking Lions football.
Why wouldn't you?
Maybe we should start asking. I'm going to tell her to start asking about cricket.
Yeah, you might as well.
Right? Get on board with that.
Maybe not.
Have her ask about where's Capel Dev these days.
Here we go. See?
Is there any other words that I could, like buzzwords I can have her say?
Yeah, I think he was an all-rounder, if I recall correctly, but a better bowler than hitter. But you might want to ask her to get opinions on, was Capel Dev a better bowler or hitter?
Ask her who was a better bowler, Capel Dev or Earl Anthony.
It's a different kind of bowling.
What?
Yeah, bowling.
I was going to say Weber.
In cricket is basically what they call pitching.
What's the paddle called, Doug? Is it just called a paddle?
It's called a bat.
Oh, it's a bat.
Yeah.
Kind of funny looking for a bat.
I mean, it's more of like a canoe paddle is what it appears to be more than anything else. But
there's fishing involved?
No, there's not. But
should there be?
No, it's fine without fishing. The problem is you get into a test match and those things can go 5 days and end in a tie, which wouldn't play well in America.
No?
No.
Playing for 5 days and no conclusion to it?
Yeah.
Really? That it wouldn't play well?
Yep.
Was it like Monopoly? Nobody ever finishes a game of Monopoly? Somebody either flips the board over or you just go, all right, I'm done.
I don't know how often they last 5 days, but anyway, yes. 248-539-9797. Let's go to Tim. You're next on 97.1 The Ticket. What's up, Tim?
Hey, happy championship week, guys.
You too.
Hey, I got a couple. So, like most men on this broadcast that are listening, their wives have all of a sudden become just diehard Lions fans to the point where my wife's last few weeks have been dedicated to what internet sensation, TikTok-worthy food we can serve, where she forced my golden doodle to wear a Lions hoodie, and my wife was rocking a Ziggy Ansah jersey for the game, which I really appreciated.
Really?
And something on the broader scale, I don't know if you guys heard, but up here in this area, we have GM. Well, the main GM plant has augmented their schedule so the employees can stay home and watch the Lions game.
So I saw that. Was that in Flint that they've had a shift that's going to start late?
Yeah, they're pushing them off until 11 o'clock. Normally they would be in at like 8:30 or so, but they know that they have a large contingency that probably won't show up for work anyway. So they push back the start time for these guys so they could take in the game because it's such a big deal around here.
Kind of makes sense. For the second consecutive week, our hockey league, our beer league, has canceled games.
No way.
Well, no one's going to show up. Maybe you guys have heard this, and there's a caller that calls in. I want to give him some credit. I believe it's DJ that's always giving us the moniker of "What Up, Doe."
What up, though, DJ? Yeah.
I heard that on a national telecast. A sports group were talking about the Lions, and one of them started off with that statement. So if it came from DJ, I want to give him props on starting that little wave going towards the national narrative.
DJ's calls always start the same. For people who haven't heard him, he calls up and says, "What up, though?"
DJ, good caller, but he definitely did not originate that. That's a Detroit thing.
Yeah. So, do you think that Apple Dave would want to go to work? Is it the cricket guy? Like, would he?
Capel Dev.
It's not Apple Dave?
No, it's not Apple Dave. It's Capel Dev.
Oh. Okay.
He's an all-rounder. Back in the day.
That's not really nice to say about his physique.
No, all-rounder means you can bowl and hit. You're more...
Gator, you play softball and you bowled.
I used to take a hit off a bowl. It's in college. A long time ago, yeah.
Don't lie to the people. That was never really your thing.
It was not. No, I went through into college with a 3-week span.
Wes, you're on 97 on the ticket. What's up, Wes?
Hi there.
Hey.
I'm a truck driver, and I was picking up a load in West Virginia, of all places, a couple of days ago. Had my Lions hat on, and the guy in the shipping office starts talking to me. He said, "Hey, nice hat," and he asked me if I thought those Lions would win, and I said, "Hey, they got a good chance." He said, "Well, I sure hope they win." So, yeah, that was kind of interesting being in West Virginia.
Look at that.
Just some random dude in West Virginia giving you that, huh?
Yep.
Well, it's unexpected Lions fandom. It's all over.
I think all of West Virginia's rooting for the Lions, guys. That's a fact.
I think
when they
Virginia,
showed the map, yeah.
Actually, Virginia may not be. West Virginia, yeah.
Yes.
Virginia might be leaning towards Baltimore, or not. You don't know.
Never know. Who do we got next here? Travis, you're on 97 on the ticket. What's up, Travis?
Hey, fellas, go Lions.
Go Lions.
Go Lions, indeed.
Hey, I love the show. Quick story. I'm 43 years old. I've lived outside of Knoxville, Tennessee my whole life. I had a great aunt that moved to Detroit back in the 60s looking for work when there wasn't much going on down here. And every Thanksgiving, she would come to my grandma's. We would sit and watch the Lions play, and she turned me into a Lions fan. She, this was the day back when Wayne Fonts was coach and Barry was playing.
Yep, the 90s.
And then Scott Mitchell was quarterback, I think, when Bobby Ross was the coach. But we sat down one Thanksgiving. She told me who everybody was and this and that, and she turned me into a Lions fan. And people think I'm just living down here in Tennessee, think I'm a fair weather fan, but hell no, man. I've been wearing my Lions stuff here for years and never going to stop. But I just want.
Can't stop, won't stop, Travis.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to tell you, there's a redneck down here outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. That's a by God Lions fan. So go Lions, and I love the show. And well, hopefully we'll talk to you after a victory.
I love
Sunday.
it. Not only a redneck that's a Lions fan, a redneck that figured out the Odyssey app. 248-539. Anybody can do it. Let's go to George, who's next on 97 on the ticket. Hi, George.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Happy afternoon to you.
Close, yes.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah, well, we've been up since 5, me and my guy I'm working with. So
still not noon.
I was down in Raleigh, North Carolina for the Red Wings game last Friday, right before the Tampa game. And I had my Aiden Hutchinson jersey on, and so many people came up to me and high-five and said, "Lions, baby, Lions." And I just couldn't believe how many fans were there for the Red Wings and the Lions.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It was a good trip. We lost the Red Wing game, but Lions won, so we're happy.
Well, it's spreading like wildfire. Lions fandom all over the place. Where are you getting unexpected Lions fandom popping into your sphere? Let's go to Eric. You're next. What's up, Eric?
Hey, gentlemen. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
Yeah, so kind of a wild story. I had the opportunity to travel to Vietnam, of all places, last year. And after I don't know how many hours of planes, trains, and automobiles I needed to take to get to where I was going, I'm dying. I'm exhausted, ready to check into my my room at the hostel. And as you know, you're checking in, they ask where you're from. I told them Detroit. This guy proceeds to show me the background on his phone and has Dan Campbell on the lock screen on his phone.
Really?
Which
in Vietnam?
So, in Vietnam. And to make it even more crazy, he was from Germany, which I knew Germany was big on the NFL, but yeah, I just this guy knew way more about football than I thought anybody outside the US would know. And so even though I was beaten down and exhausted for how many hours of travel, that energized me. That definitely was the juice I needed to, pop a couple beers with this guy and talk football.
Yes, of course. We love the Dan Campbell and the way that he does the muscles and this is biting the kneecaps and all that. We appreciate it very much.
In Vietnam.
Of course, all my friends out there, we have good times. We watch Lions games every Sunday, although with the time change and it might be Saturday night, but it's Saturday night's all right for fighting, particularly when you got the muscles of the Dan Campbell and you can go out and pummel the people and make them bow to whatever you want and become Lions fan with a Honolulu Blue.
Can we make two more claims now based on that one call?
Yeah.
Detroit Lions, not only America's team, Germany's team, and Vietnam's team.
I think so. I mean, obviously, Kang,
Obviously, well, first of all, we've seen the map of the United States, who you're rooting for, right? How come we haven't gotten the global?
That's right.
Like, who is Vietnam rooting for? Obviously, the Lions.
Yep.
Who's Germany rooting for? Obviously, the
Clearly
Lions.
the Lions.
What about the other countries?
Fall into line.
Well, India and Pakistan.
Right,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
248-539-9797. All right, people are wondering if this guy's going to play. One of the coordinators says he's very close. We will get to that at 12:04. Carson Anderson, 97.1. All right, so busy day, getting you set for the Lions in San Francisco. Jim Harbaugh leaves Michigan. He's off to the NFL, take the Chargers job. It seems it's just a matter of time before. I mean, there is some protocols that have to be followed and some state laws that have to be followed. But within a week, everybody expects Chiron Moore, who last year filled in admirably for the games that he took over, will be the next head coach of the Michigan football program. And certainly I think Chiron's a great choice, and have faith in Chiron. Got to know Chiron quite a bit over the years, and think he has a chance to be successful. There's some challenges, of course. First time head coach, and now it's his gig. Like it's cool that that you're that you did a great job at filling in, and as a coordinator and an O-line coach, resume's there, but being the guy is different. So we'll see how he handles that. But he was considered a bright young coaching prospect. So Ian Rappaport is tweeting out that it looks like the Panthers are going to hire the Tampa Bay Buccaneer OC Dave Canellis as their new head coach, which a first-time coordinator this year.
Well, that's interesting.
It is. This falls in line with the go get the bright young offensive mind. I don't think that guy was very old.
Does he have any connection to Bryce Young?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're the same age. Dude, that guy was like a coordinator for 1 year.
Yes.
Was he at Alabama or anything? That's what I'm asking.
I'm
Does he have a connection, or has he worked with quarterbacks of that ilk?
He's 42.
Not the same age, Kang.
Yeah.
He's the same age as that guy from Oregon or whatever who's applying for his 9th year.
Yeah, this dude.
Or Miami, I mean.
Right.
This dude he's pretty young looking. He went from Seattle's wide receiver coach for 7 years to their quarterback coach for 2 years, to their passing game coordinator for 2 years, back to their quarterback coach. Then he became Tampa's offensive coordinator for a year, and now he's
sign him up,
about to become the head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Well, Panthers going to do what they're going to do, I guess. I don't think that's a wise move, but do what you got to do. You'd think that'd be a reasonably coveted job, but then again, they've got a lot of restrictions there. You've already got the quarterback, and if you don't buy into the quarterback, you're not buying into the team. They got some free agent things to work out. They don't have a first-round pick, but it is a young team that does have some talent. So, anyway, it's that's another job that Ben Johnson can't get.
Yeah, I don't know if he was ever going to go there. But,
doesn't matter. Just check him off, man. Means more competition for the other jobs.
Who is it reporting today that said Ben Johnson's going to Washington?
No, it was yesterday. Boomer Esiason said it's a lock that Ben Johnson will be the Commanders' next head coach. If that's true, then I hope he's done taking interviews, done worrying about it. You know, like, hey, right. I'm going to Washington after this season's over, and then just concentrate on the rest of the playoffs for the Lions.
Yeah, because obviously they can't talk until next week. Again, if he's already interviewed with him, and he has actually I think last weekend he had those 4 interviews. So I'm with you, Kang. If he's already accept the job and get back to the focus, which is the Niners game.
248-539-9797. All right, I mentioned it before the break. Close was the tag that Aaron Glenn, put on James Houston for the possibility that he returns this weekend. We'll see what that means. When he did talk it through further, he made it sound like it's more injury related than anything, that they need to make sure he's healthy, which I thought, of course he's healthy, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's not back.
He's been practicing for a few weeks now, and hopefully he gets back to that where they need him to be, because he can be, he showed last year he was a dominant pass rusher. Mm-hmm. And that's something the Lions could really use. Be great if you get that pass rush from the front 4 as opposed to having to dial it up with a safety coming off the edge or a linebacker coming up the middle. You want to have it from that front 4 so those other guys can stay in coverage.
So just something to keep in mind, something to watch. Some awards are starting to be handed out. The Associated Press has their finalists for a lot of the NFL awards. We are getting some mention. We will get to that today at 12:20. In the meantime, we also have asked folks, where have you come across unexpected Lions fandom? 248-539-9797. Let's go to Earl. You're next on 97 on a Ticket. What's up, Earl?
How you guys doing this afternoon?
We're good.
All right, Earl.
Oh, okay. Well, I started this football season off, and I was watching football by myself. So maybe about 6 weeks ago, the wife started watching it with me. Well, needless to say, she went and took her family pictures. She got a Barry Sanders jersey on. She paints her toenails Honolulu blue. Her nails got footballs on them. And she's screaming at the TV now.
Wow.
And I'm like, are you serious? She says, I told you I was going to try some new things. And this football stuff is kind of working out for me right now. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Maybe she wants to try some more things,
we have to go,
Earl.
Hey. We going on. We have to go to North Carolina this weekend for a funeral, so we're flying. So she says, what time is the game on Sunday? I said, it's at 6:30. She says, wow, okay. What time are we getting back? I said, we should get back home about 11, back to Michigan about 11 a.m. She said, that's why you booked the flight like that. I said, yes, because I'm not missing this game. She says, thank you, because I didn't know I didn't think we were going to make it.
Wow.
I said, oh, no. We will be at home for this game. Man, this is different, though, man. She hated it in the beginning of the season. Hated it.
And now she's all in.
Now she loves it.
There you go.
All in.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Here's some feedback coming in with worldwide stuff. Tyler writes in, I work for a German company here in Ann Arbor.
Yes, yes, of course. It's a German company. We're all over the world now.
The caller is definitely correct. The Lions are also Germany's team. Everyone in Germany I've talked to loves Dan Campbell and the Lions and are rooting for them to win.
Frankfurt loves Detroit Lions. Munich loves Detroit Lions.
Andy writes in,
Heidelberg loves Detroit Lions.
Andy writes in, the Irish are behind the Lions. The amount of calls and texts I get from home.
He must be Irish, right, Andy?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, sure.
Ireland. Conor McGregor behind the Lions.
Come on.
Is that Liam Nielsen?
Liam
Scottish?
Nielsen? Well, if I do Scottish, it just turns into Sean Connery. Yes, of course. Yeah. Oh, you love the Lions up there in Scotland. It's great.
Unnamed texter, I have a good friend from Detroit and a big Lions fan. He's living in Poland. His Polish wife is also a Lions fan. I'm sure now it's spread to the whole country. Poland is definitely for the Lions.
There we go.
Get on the train.
We got him.
We're getting all of Eastern Europe.
Come on.
We got a text in there that says Putin's for the Lions. I don't know if I want to.
I know. We don't need that one. Southeast Asia.
Right.
India.
Who knew? Who knew?
Eastern Bloc countries.
Doug, Australia. Can you call your contacts up?
Fed Ingham. Yes, I can. I should reach out to my Australian contacts. Who you like this weekend, Lions or Niners? 248-539-9797. Greg, you're next on 97.
Whatever Apple Dave likes.
Apple Dave.
Apple Dave,
Greg.
sorry.
Apple Dave, yep. First of all, I want to say thank you guys because I've been a long time, and you guys have always been on the positive side of things with the Lions, and the pendulum has finally swung our way, and I appreciate that you guys over the years have always, instead of being, doom and gloom when I walk in the room, you guys have been on at least a little bit of the sunny side of things. So I appreciate that. I just want to say thank you.
Well, we've tried to see if there was a path to better places, and typically there was not. Now there is, and we don't have to try that hard, which is nice.
Yeah. But I was calling about Chiron Moore. I'm excited, and I think he can definitely, lead the way and keep this thing rolling. But I really hope that Michigan as a whole, they take a real look in the mirror now, and we go, okay, we need to switch this whole thing where it's really tough for players to transfer in because of the education standards. They need to take a look and do their own assessment and figure out if Chiron Moore is going to get in trouble for the whole Stallions thing. There needs to be a whole reckoning, I think, and then start over and because we have a lot of momentum right now, but I don't want it to be, tarnished by that. If
I would put it to
sense.
you like this. I would find it highly improbable that they would hire him if he had a connection to that. I
but
don't
there is
think they
always
would.
this thing of our poop doesn't smell sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, of course we'll be fine. Nothing's going to happen. And then
The people that
there.
are running the athletic department don't see it that way. Because I'll give you an example. It was the people in the athletic department that were in favor of suspending Jim Harbaugh. And I don't think Harbaugh loved it, but they went with the NCAA and they agreed to that. So they don't take the poop doesn't smell. If they need to call it out or be punished, they went with some self-sanctions. Now, at the end of the day, I don't think they would hire Chiron if that were the case, and there's no indication that he's tied to that, but the investigation isn't over, but I don't think he is. In the meantime, we mentioned some awards that the Lions are up for. We'll get to more of your phone calls and feedback coming up as well on a variety of topics. It's Open Lines here on Carson Anderson. Hey, during the winter, the last thing you need is plumbing issues. If you've got them, call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, 855-339-4242. CGC will send one of their plumbers out quickly. If you're tired of running out of hot water, call CGC Water and have them install a Navien tankless water heater like we did. No more running out of hot water, plus we reduce our energy consumption. We're saving money. Call CGC Water and get 10% off the installation of a Navien tankless water heater from CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Open lines, 248-539-9797. Great to be with you here on a Thursday in Detroit. Lots to discuss today. Let's get to what I just teased, Gator. We have some NFL awards. These are the Associated Press's NFL awards, finalists. Do you think the Lions have a finalist for league MVP?
No.
Kang, do you think the Lions have a finalist for league MVP?
No.
They do not. Finalists are Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, and Brock Purdy. So, again, you don't need affirmation, but in case you do, that Brock Purdy isn't necessarily the quarterback who perhaps we were asking, are you sure you're a right-handed quarterback? Last week, watching him play against Green Bay, he is good. He didn't look good, but he is good. Offensive Player of the Year. Do you think we have a finalist for Offensive Player of the Year?
No.
I'll say no as well.
Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott. Defensive Player of the Year.
No.
I agree, Gator. No.
DeRon Bland, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt. Coach of the Year.
Yes.
I agree. Yes.
John Harbaugh, D'Amico Ryans, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin Stefanski, Dan Campbell. Assistant Coach of the Year.
Yes.
Judging by just the interviews alone, at least one of those guys is up for Assistant of the Year, and I'll go Ben Johnson.
I'm just going to say Ben Johnson. I don't think AG's on there.
You do that, AG, yes or no, King?
No.
Okay. It's Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Todd Monken, Jim Schwartz, and Bobby Slowick.
Schwartz.
Yeah. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yes. 2.
I agree. Gibbs Laporta.
You think they both make it?
Yep.
Puka Nacua, Bijan Robinson, C.J. Stroud, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta.
There we go.
Defensive
And it
Rookie
should be
of the
Puka Nacua.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Might be C.J. Stroud, Gator.
Might be.
Yes. I think that Brian Branch is on there.
I think Brian Branch should definitely be on there.
Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr., Kobe Turner, and Devon Witherspoon.
Oh!
It's a robbery.
Those guys are all pretty good, though.
Yeah, they are. But Branch should be on there. I think over Joey Porter Jr., personally, if I had to take somebody off, right? Is that how it works?
Take Jalen Carter off just for the purposes of our talk show.
And replace him with Jack Campbell.
Yes. Comeback Player of the Year. Do you think the Lions have a Comeback Player of the Year? Who would it be?
That's what I'm trying to think. Like, who would be Comeback Player of the Year? Somebody who, J-Mo didn't play much last year, but I mean, wasn't because he got hurt early. And no, I don't think he's there. Wouldn't be Goff because Goff had the great year last year. No, I don't think they have a comeback play. No.
Joe Flacco, DeMar Hamlin, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Tua Tagovailoa.
Hamlin just because he died last year?
Well, you didn't say it like that. Wow. I think that's why.
Obviously, I'm kidding. It's an amazing story. All you got to do is die in the field and come back and you make it, right?
I don't know if anybody's had a greater comeback than that.
I mean,
Gator.
that's unbelievable. How do you not give it? Like, all due respect to Joe Flacco and what he did for the Browns down the stretch, but it's like,
I know, but I honestly would give it to Flacco if I had to vote.
He didn't even die.
Yeah, but you were with Buffalo. You know, I mean, come on.
I think people thought Flacco was dead.
He's old enough. All right, so there you go. Those are the awards and where we're getting some love. 248-539-9797. So the whole Purdy thing, here's my question. And Dan Campbell said as much yesterday about how, look, we changed some things. Sometimes you have to give up something to get something. And what we have seen and what we have noticed, the way we interpret that is they're blitzing from all over now. And I remember saying after the Denver game, they threw the kitchen sink at Russell Wilson. They came from every direction, guys in the secondary, blitzing for the corners, blitzing for the safety, blitzing for the linebacker spot. But you can't do that every week. Well, guess what? Feels like they've kind of done it every week. It feels like it. And as our Birchie kid pointed out yesterday when we were talking to him, it's put a lot more stress on the corners. like Cam Sutton. And Cam Sutton wasn't having a bad year, but it feels like he's gotten picked on a little bit lately, but he's always covering the other team's best receiver. Do you blitz like crazy again against Purdy? Because I feel like Purdy does a good job at identifying and getting the ball to open receivers. And that's what he was great on that last drive. He had one keyhole throw on a third down to Brandon Ayuk on a slant that was big, but I feel like that's where Purdy's strength might be. And if you're going to blitz him a lot, there are going to be more guys running open, and he does a good job at identifying where to go with the football.
Well, I think if you are going to blitz, you better make sure that you got Christian McCaffrey covered.
Yep.
He's the guy. He's the guy that can beat you, and Kittle's the other one. I'm not as worried about Ayuk because if Ayuk is going to make a difference, he's going to need time to get open because it's going to be this downfield stuff. If they throw underneath whatever, they'll have a guy that's on him. But you're going to need time to get him open. Well, that goes against the if you're blitzing somebody, you should be under pressure. So you're looking at those other two areas. So I'm just saying, cover those two guys. The other thing is the Lions they've gotten the pressure with safeties coming in and with linebackers coming in, but they haven't done the corner blitz. No corner on the Lions has a sack this year, which I don't know if that's terribly relevant, but it's just something that I've looked at. None of the corners have gotten a sack.
Interesting.
So, look where it's coming from.
248-539-9797. More of your phone calls and feedback coming up. It's Carson Anderson, Open Lines on this Thursday. We'll talk to you next. 97.1 The Ticket. I'm going to ask you a question. You tell me if you think this is relevant information at all.
Okay, Doug.
Kang, I want your opinion too. I watched the San Francisco 49ers stop the tush push last week by Green Bay. Do we teams that have solved that are able to solve that? I'm always like, damn it. But damn it when we're playing them. I don't like the play personally, but is that going to be relevant information this week that they're capable of stopping the tush push?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
How often have you seen the Lions try the tush push?
I haven't. If I recall correctly, I have seen them go with the quarterback sneak. They will sneak Jared Goff, who is 6'6", but they haven't gone full tush push.
Well, and it works because nobody expects Jared Goff to run. The tush push is like, you know it's coming. You've got the everybody set up in the backfield to push on the quarterback, and that's not how the Lions run their offense.
Yeah, I guess I don't expect that. I don't think that it works because nobody expects Goff to run, because I don't even think of a quarterback sneak as a quarterback run.
Well, they had 3rd and 1 last.
Technically, it is.
They had 3rd and 1 on Sunday night, and Goff got the first down just going, I think, to his left and running upfield and picked it up rather easily.
Yep.
Why? Because nobody expected him to do it. They expect he was going to hand it off to Montgomery or whatever.
Well, when you line up in the tush-push formation, there are variations out of that, but it's pretty obvious what you're going to do. I mean,
it's like Wildcat.
Wonder how many times Goff has run the quarterback sneak. I think we've seen it enough that it's not that they don't necessarily expect it. It's just an effective play, in my view. But
they're better off running the traditional quarterback sneak. And the one that they got, the converted Gator, I'm with you. I think it was an unexpected QB because he went left or right. I can't remember which way, but you thought it was probably a handoff coming. Instead, he just quickly went behind his guard. And you're like, okay, that worked. Dan Campbell has said that they've worked on this stuff in practice. I don't want them to try it for the first time in the NFC title game. You know, like
right.
I don't care how much they've practiced this. I mean, don't break it out now.
248-539-9797.
No, that's what Hendon Hooker's for.
Why are you doing that?
I just wanted to see what your reaction was going to be.
That is not the player that a coordinator said was close.
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah,
Wait,
it was.
Hang on.
Don't even start it because you know what's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen. Jared Goff has won 2 playoff games.
I know, but we're going to get
how many Lions quarterbacks can say that?
He's probably the only one living, right?
Well, he's definitely the only one living.
Weird. New ways to describe the ceiling that we have broken. The only living Lions quarterback to have won 2 playoff games.
Just give him the contract. Just go. Here you go.
I mean, kind of, right?
5 years, $225 million. Take my money.
I think the critics have to have come around, right? I shouldn't say have to. As soon as I say have to.
Well, I mean, the game I watched on Sunday night, the passes he made, the touchdown pass with a touch to St. Brown in the corner was brilliant. I don't know. I'm very impressed with Jared Goff.
Let's get back to your open line calls. We go to Chris. You're next on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up?
Hey, it's Tim to call about the Lions fandom. My wife's Brazilian, so we frequent down there. And one of her friends' husbands is, ironically, a Lions fan of all places.
In Brazil.
In Brazil. Rio de Janeiro.
There you go.
So this was before their recent...
Huge in Rio.
Before their recent
He's
surge.
been a Lions fan for years. For years. He's gone through the pain and suffering just like all of us.
Did you ask for an explanation at any point?
Yeah. He's like...
Dude, the hell.
It was like one of the first teams I've watched down here, and he just decided to roll with it. And, didn't really have like the greatest explanation, just decided that was going to be his team, and he stuck it out, tried and true over the years.
It's soccer, jiu-jitsu, Lions football, anaconda hunting.
That's in order?
I think it's in order.
Yeah. Brazil's team, the Detroit Lions.
He absolutely loves the Lions. So
yeah, it's kind of different because we've been talking about like recent unexpected, but he's obviously a long-time Brazilian, and he fits the definition of unexpected Lions fandom. But where's it caught you off guard of late? 248-539-9797. Jeff, you're next. What's up, Jeff?
Doug, Cater Gang. Nice.
Hey, man.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey,
right.
my story.
Hold on. I get what you were doing, but you said Doug, Cater, and Gang.
It's all right. I like it.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was going to say Crash, and then it came out Crash and Gator combined.
It's quite all right.
It all works.
Yeah.
Hey, my thing is, everybody's got a wife that's kind of a casual fan, hardcore fan, whatever. And my wife's followed through the years, and she kind of jumped off the bandwagon with the pick up the flag on Brandon Pettigrew, and she was off the wagon. And
don't start.
Yeah, no, sorry, Doug. But she loves football. Monday night, Sunday night, that's her favorite. And my surprise is she manages a dental office out here in Shelby Township. And I called up there the other day to ask her a honeydew question and just got dumped on, just hung up. And she texted me back, I'm listening to Valenti and the guys on the radio. She downloaded the Odyssey app.
There you go.
I got her listen to you guys, and she downloaded the Odyssey app on her phone at the dental office so she can listen to what you guys are saying. She's listening right now, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, so her fave, everybody's fave, Metro Detroit's fave, is the Gator rant on Friday. So don't ever give up on that.
What's her name, Jeff?
Her name's Michelle. If she's not with a patient, she's listening.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for listening.
Hey, Michelle.
Awesome, guys. Hey,
Love
one
it.
quick question.
Hi, Trishelle.
Gator, have you talked to John Keating about how he feels on this playoff run?
Yeah, Gator, have you talked to Keats?
It's been a while since the mamas and the papas were popular in the Haight-Ashbury district of San Francisco. However, there's a new sheriff in town. His name is Jared Goff. Shireen Sasky has more.
Perfect. Well played. 248-539-9797. Mike, you're next. What's up, Mike?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey,
yes,
Mike.
we can. Go ahead.
Hey, gentlemen. Hey, good afternoon to all three of you.
Thank you.
Anyway, so I'm from Brownstown, Michigan, born and raised in downriver area, so diehard Lions fan my whole life. Well, over the last year or so, I've been working in Canada, and I'm 2 hours from Buffalo. So the NFL fans up here are generally Buffalo fans and or a lot of Green Bay fans, believe it or not. So as of late, every single NFL fan I've run across, they have all converted, jumped on the Lions bandwagon. And it's gotten to the point where, like, different guys that I work with, they'll text me throughout the day. They text me over the weekend, call me just like, hey, good luck. It's going to be a good game. Just insane. And I'm also dating a girl from Ontario area. She's from Guelph. She was a Packer fan. And last year I converted her to a Lions fan. So now when we watch the games, I don't know who's yelling louder, her or I.
Nice.
But anyway, Lions fandom in all of Ontario at the moment. So go Lions. That's
Yeah,
all
we
I'm
get a
saying.
lot of calls from Windsor. Let's take one more on this. Sam, you're on 97 on the ticket. Hi, Sam.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Great.
All right, Sam.
Hey, so my unexpected fandom is my in-laws have had to stay in my house for a little bit because they're in the process of building a house, and my father-in-law is ever since I've been married to my wife, whenever the Chicago Bears would beat the Lions, him being a Bears fan, he would always call me, and he wouldn't even say anything on the phone call. It would just be him laughing. That's how bad he would troll me all the time with the Bears beating the Lions. Well, I'm sitting on the couch the other night with my wife, and my in-laws are in the living room, and I'm just enjoying the Tampa Bay game. And I look over to my right, and my father-in-law is sitting on the edge of his couch, and I hear small whispers in his voice on the Lions drives where he's going, come on.
Really?
And I didn't say anything to him, and I'm not going to say anything to him because I might, one day break it out to them and just let them know, that, I heard you that day.
You got that in your back pocket.
Oh, yeah, it's in my back pocket for sure. But, he's I don't think he'll ever fully transition to a Lions fan, but him and, I'm down in Tennessee, so I'm surrounded by a lot of Titans fans and just a whole bunch of mixture of other people. And the amount of people that have been texting me as of late telling me I am so on board for your Lions, and it's amazing to see, and there's all kinds of unexpected roads that I've crossed with all these people that are just jumping on.
You know what it is, Sam? They're the world's team. That's what it comes down to.
We're not just America's team. Yeah, Dallas can stay America's team if they want, but we're the world's team. Thank you for the phone call. All right, Gators, this week goes on. Have your emotions changed at all? We'll explain today at 12:48. It's Carson Anderson, Open Lines, 97.1. Lions taking on a really, really, really good San Francisco team. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. They've beaten every other NFC playoff team this year except the Lions. They go for the complete sweep of the playoff field. Between the regular season and the playoffs, they've played everyone that made the playoffs, the other 6 teams, and the only one, like I said, they haven't beat is Detroit. And they've got an elite running back in Christian McCaffrey. They've got an elite weapon on the outside in Deebo Samuel. We'll see if he can play. They got one of the best tight ends in the league in George Kittle. They got great linebackers. I mean, great linebackers. And Lions are going to have their hands full. They're just going to have to play an outstanding game.
They probably shouldn't even go. Just give it up.
Yeah. Well,
sorry,
really
San
good.
Francisco, you're just too good.
Well, the question is I wonder if Green Bay did anything that Aaron Glenn's going to copy in terms of their quarterback.
I would think so. I think you'd have to look at the game and dissect why Brock Purdy did not look good
could have been the rain
in that game.
And I know that it's going to be better weather.
It's too simple. There has to be something beyond that. I mean, some bad throws, sure, you can chalk that up to maybe you didn't have the right gription, but dialing up pressure, I would think that'd be something they'd want to do. Force an inexperienced quarterback into throwing a ball before he wants to. Now, Brock Purdy, the comparisons with he and Jared Goff, I think are pretty good, except Brock Purdy's got more escapability. He's not a terribly mobile quarterback, but he's mobile enough. And is it something you need to worry about, bringing a blitz and he can get out of it? I'm not worried about it because I'll put him in the same category as Baker Mayfield when it comes to that, and the Lions got to Baker 4 times. They sacked him 4 times. They got plenty of pressure on him. If they can duplicate that effort, if you're going to tell me the Lions get 4 sacks in the game, I think the defense has done their job.
I would agree. But, I mean, the big thing is just keeping them out of the end zone, make them kick field goals. The Lions, I mean, we all know the yards. Some of the defensive stats for the Lions are ugly. They've been better of late, though, and you just hope that they did figure something out, turned a corner of sorts here in the latter portion of the season. They gave up, from the Denver game on, 17, 24, 20, 20, 23, 23.
Pick your poison from one of the players offensively for them, not Purdy, but one of the guys who's going to have the ball in their hands as a receiver or ball carrier. Who are you willing to say, okay, we gave up something, which was giving it up to this guy so that we could stop other things? Who do you let run wild on?
So like who do I focus on taking away? Right, sure. I focus on taking away Christian McCaffrey and exposing myself to a lot of catches on the outside, Deebo Samuel, who I think is going to play. And so yeah, I'd let Deebo get his yards. But just like the Tampa game we talked about, keep everything inside and in front, and they did a good job of that. Same thing. And it's frustrating sometimes defensively because you just see him dinking and dunking down the field. But
I think
I'd gang up on McCaffrey.
I absolutely 100% agree. You stop McCaffrey. And if that opens it up that George Kittle has a game, okay.
Yep.
George Kittle can have a game, but he can only if he's going to have a game, have it be at like 8 or 9 yards at a time and not 25, 35 yards at a time.
So here's my question, though, and this is for you and for all Lions fans. Between the time the Lions qualified for this game, won the Tampa game, and we knew they were going to the NFC title game to play San Francisco, and now, do you find yourself getting more chesty, more confident, or more nervous and more concerned? Like, has your emotions changed at all as this week has gone on in what is for most of us unprecedented? The week between the division round and the NFC Championship game.
I've definitely got more confident in the Lions' chances of winning this game. I'm not chesty. Chesty means I'm well above 50%. I'm not at 50% yet, but I'm getting more confident by the day. I love hearing what Dan Campbell has to say. I love hearing what the players have to say. And that Deebo Samuel, keep it on Deebo watch and see what's going to happen with him. If Deebo's not going to play, that probably puts me right at 50%. And I don't know if he's playing or not. Does it matter? I mean, I can say, no, it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. He's a weapon. But like Kane points out, if he plays, doesn't guarantee that he's going to be the impact player he is. Doesn't mean he's going to be this bowling ball once he's got the ball in his hands. He might be a little fragile because he's been knocked out.
So, and that's – well, here's what's driving my emotion right now is how hard it is to do what they've already done. And I'm not going to fall into the trap of assuming that the window is opening. There's certainly that possibility that the window is just opening for the Lions. But the last time we thought the window was opening, it wasn't. And that stupid Dan Marino question that Kang asked earlier about, who's the next Dan Marino? Because Dan Marino early in his career got to a Super Bowl and the loss, I think it was his second year. It wasn't his rookie year, was it? It was his second year?
I think it was 84 season, yeah.
Okay, so his second year he goes to the Super Bowl and loses it, and it's not a tragedy in his career because they've got what every team wants, this elite young arm, and he never goes back. Like now that we're here, this sort of sense of urgency with a possibility that Debo doesn't play, or if he plays, he's slowed. I think he'll be on the field. I don't want to not capitalize on this opportunity. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to assume.
Yeah, you can't assume you're going to be back here every year.
Nope. And there's really good teams that go to the playoffs and don't advance.
I do think that they have the foundation in place, and they've got
feels like
everything in place to keep this window open for several years.
Sure feels like it. But
look, you don't take it for granted.
I mean, San Francisco, they've been good for several years. Kansas City, good for several years. Like there are teams that can be good for several years. I just assuming we're going to be one of those teams, it feels like a dangerous thing. But I guess I'm getting more nervous because I don't want to blow this chance.
Do you think it's just you in general, though?
Maybe. Oh, I have no issue looking in the mirror and saying this is a Doug issue. But yeah, I'm getting more nervous as we get close to this game.
Kang, where are you at?
So to answer your original question, Doug, I'm getting more confidence. I'm definitely not chesty like you said, Gator. But when the game first, when the Lions won and we knew where they're playing the Niners, after the jubilation and the celebrating, all that stuff, and the surreal moments passed, I thought, okay, I'm gonna pick in the Niners to win this game. Objectively, I think just the Niners are a better team.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're Thursday, and I don't know if I'm convincing myself or what it is. It's the more I look at the game, I see a better chance for the Lions to win than I originally thought. And I'm not gonna tell you who I'm picking right now, but it's definitely more confidence, Doug, that I think the Lions can pull this off. And don't forget, this is an upset if the Lions win. The Niners are favored for a reason. I've said it before. This is not breaking news. Everyone knows this. The Niners on paper are a better overall team than the Lions. But you just got to beat them one time, and that happens this Sunday. Kyle Shanahan versus Ben Johnson. Aaron Glenn versus, Steve Wilkes. I think there's plenty of windows, especially the Deebo Samuel injury is real because even if he plays, and I think he'll play too, Doug, I don't think he's going to be nearly as effective. One of the things that makes the Niners offense effective is their ability to break tackles. If Deebo Samuel's compromised at all with that shoulder injury, he ain't breaking a bunch of tackles. In fact, he's probably going to go down right away. And I agree with both you guys. Stop Christian McCaffrey first and let everything else fall into place how it does, but do not let CMC get off.
If it were easy to stop Christian McCaffrey, others would have tried this.
No,
I know. I'm in that camp. Like, I'm not being critical, but I'm just saying our little game plan that we're scheming up here in a studio in Detroit on a Thursday before a Sunday NFC title game isn't reinventing football analysis, and it's probably a fool's errand because.
But I don't know. I think it kind of falls in line in a way with how they played this year. We've seen huge totals from receivers against the Lions, and it didn't matter. Or may have kept the game closer for the opposition, but they didn't win.
Right.
Vikings didn't win. Rams didn't win. Bucks didn't win. Cowboys didn't win-ish. But, they were able to stop other aspects. If one guy's going to go off, don't let it be McCaffrey because McCaffrey can kill you two different ways. These other guys, they're one-trick ponies. But they can be effective against lesser teams. This is the other thing. As much as my confidence is growing this week, I think the confidence in that locker room is sky high.
I would agree with that.
These guys really believe in themselves. They've got the coach that 100% believes in them and keeps feeding that into them day after day after day. These guys believe in what they can accomplish. They know that there's still meat left on the bone. We got to finish up that bone.
248-539-9797. Where are you as we've turned the page each day, getting a little closer? You more confident? You less confident? You getting nervous? Are you scared? Are you getting chesty? Lions, Niners, NFC title game Sunday, 97-1.